did hear it. I heard that the shot that was taken in our direction by the show previous to this one, Chris Brooks and the Gridiron. I heard the shot. The shot was heard, not around the world, but around the studio. It was heard, Mr. Brooks. I heard it. And I'm going to address that right now. My name's Matt. JB is here. You heard him chuckling. That's very important. There is no show on the air without JB. And most importantly, you are here listening, tuning in lots of different ways from lots of different places and so on and so forth and things and such, as one man used to say. So y'all hit me up on the text line today, 885-ESPN, 885-ESPN or 885-3776. Call me on the Divinity phone. Got that open for you. So I'd love to hear your voice today on this Thursday. 995-1059. That's the number to the Divinity Equipment phone line. If you're watching the stream, there it is right there. 995-1059. Y'all give me a call. Love to hear your voice today. You can hit me up on Twitter as well. So let me set this up for you, okay? First of all, Thursday show, it kind of, for me and in the Wyatt house, it sort of feels like Friday because we've got the fall break thing happening this weekend in the family. But it is going to include and does require a trip to Kentucky for me. So it's sort of a free-for-all Thursday. I am not making any excuses for not having a show like lined out with topics at this time and at this place and this phone call and that. I'm not making excuses for that at all. I'm also want to make sure that everybody knows I'm not intentionally copying Chris Brooks on the Gridiron, even though we know that's how he does his show. There's nothing that's outlined. There's nothing that's planned. There's basically nothing. And it's great. It works because Chris is even more ADD than me and his brain is firing like this, just all over the place. Okay, so it sort of works. But as you know, when you listen to the show, from time to time, we do sports content. Imagine that. Sports content every now and then on a sports show. So he took a shot at us. He told everybody goodbye on his show. He said, Matt Wyatt's coming up next. He always sort of facetiously says, you're welcome for that, for Matt Wyatt coming up next. And he said, I'm sure they will do lots of sports, breaking down games, and breaking down the too deep. And he said it sarcastically. I just want to say for the record, JB, yeah. We have never broken down a too deep depth chart on this show.
No, we haven't.
We have mentioned things from time to time, but we have never broken down a too deep depth chart. That said, this card, normally where I have topics and things written out at certain times, it is completely blank. I will be filling in as we talk about things on today's show, the notes that we do, the things that you as a listener, the path you take us down today, because I will have notes then when we post the podcast to label it. I just want to get all that out front and center. Now, having said that, I have a special guest in my studio. This is how I'm going to introduce her. Today is Chevy Chase's 77th birthday. Okay? Or Chevy Chase. It's Chevy.
Is that the whole hand, Doc?
Yes, right. Chevy Chase's 77th birthday.
River.
All right? Happy birthday. Now, I have been accused in our house of being Clark Griswold in real life. Different ways and everything. As you know, though, he not only played in the Vacation movies, Chevy Chase played in a lot of others, and one of my favorite is Funny Farm.
Oh, yeah. Okay?
Funny. What's so funny, Annie? What is so funny, Annabeth?
I know where you're going with this.
All right, the homecoming queen is in the studio. Let's welcome her to the show. One of his movies, one of my favorite, is Funny Farm also. And in that movie, he plays a very Clark Griswold-esque character in that movie as well. The husband, he's in this movie, his character's name is Andy.
Yeah.
They move. He's
to the country.
He's a sports writer. They move out to the country.
Yeah.
Buy a house. They're out in the country, right? And what happens, he goes fishing, and he gets a bite. And when he pulls back on the rod, it's not a fish. It is a snake that flies out of the air and onto him, his head and his shoulders. He begins to freak out. He starts to run. Thing is, the fishing line is hooked to his leg, Annie, and he's pulling the snake behind him.
Yeah,
he's screaming.
It's you.
He finally gets loose of the fishing line. He runs to pick up a rock to throw on the snake to kill it. And by the time he gets where the snake was, he looks around and he can't find it. And he looks up, and what does he see?
It's slithering into the door where his wife is inside.
The snake is slithering inside. He just sees the tail of it going in the front door, and he
and
says
then
to himself, "You
his
hear?"
wife scream.
He says, "Oh no!" And then you hear. Then we cut to a wide shot of the house, and you hear her screaming bloody murder.
Pretty much,
folks.
I was doing the best I can to get you off the air. And she's screaming, "Get down here, get off the radio."
We had a similar experience yesterday in the Wyatt household.
it was bad.
Now, I want to say this. We've got texts coming in on the text line. We're going to get into the story. Nickelback, Jason, 3-Hump Camel, Trey, White, Denzel, all of y'all. Hey to you. Hi to everybody watching on Facebook and on YouTube elsewhere. At the end of yesterday's show, within the last 10 minutes in the 3 o'clock hour, we got a phone call from someone who was impersonating Lou Holtz. It was a fantastic impersonation of him. And then he did John Gruden, and then he did John Madden. They were all great impressions.
Meanwhile,
but I could not pay attention.
JB, it was bad.
My wife would have been freaking out as well.
To whoever you are, please call me back, because I want you to do some more of that on the show. I want some more of you, because they were fantastic impressions. I'm not talking about hokey. I'm talking about really good.
It was just bad circumstances.
So whoever
here.
you are, please call back, and because I want to give you your due. Because while that was happening, right before we went to that phone call, in this studio, we've got like 10 minutes left on the air yesterday. That door swung open. And Annabeth, do you remember the words that came out of your mouth?
No, I don't.
Let me do it for you. Get off the radio. There's a snake in the house.
And see, I heard somebody come in, but I thought it was just y'all's daughter coming in from school yesterday.
Well,
she was with me. She ran upstairs with me.
And they normally get home about that time. On Wednesdays, they come in and they have voice lessons and different things. And there's always a commotion when they get home. I hear them playing and I hear the dogs.
Not this kind of commotion.
This was a different commotion. I'm mid-sentence in front of this microphone with a huge audience of people listening. And I hear, regardless of what time it is.
I don't care what time it was, Matt. I saw the snake in the house.
I look at you and your eyes like lasers just burn right through my skull. And you said, "Get off the radio. There's a snake in the house." And when you said that, I immediately go into I'm game manager. That my potential was always just game manager. All right, manage the game. What do we do?
2-minute drill here, Matt. Get down and kill the snake. 2-minute drill. It took you 8 minutes to get down there.
The problem is, okay, I've got to let the show down softly because I can't leave JB hanging by. I can't just walk away. And so
JB would have understood.
Well, he would have, but I didn't know if I wanted to say,
"There's a snake in the house. I need to go."
Right. I didn't know if I wanted to say that on the air at that time.
Well, I would have been fine with it.
So I went to the call. I'm thinking, okay, what are we going to do? I texted, while we were listening to the phone call, I'm totally preoccupied. I text JB and say, "JB, can you get some music ready? I got to get out early." He's like, "Sure, give me a second."
Here's the text verbatim. "Can you play some music to the break so we can get out a little early? A minute or two early?" And I said, "Sure. I'll set it after this caller. Give me a few." And then he sent me a text. "Sorry about the weird ending, but Annabeth had an incident in the house."
I had an incident. Not only did I have an incident, JB, as he's up here texting you and listening to the caller, I'm down there guarding the door, trying to watch for the snake, which, by the way, doesn't turn out to just be one snake. There were two.
There were two snakes in the laundry room.
In the mud room area that goes into the laundry room, I've thrown both dogs, our daughter, I've locked them in the bathroom. I've put the cat away, which now I've decided I should have let out because he probably could have killed those snakes.
He would have killed them.
And I'm down there. You know how football players, what is the stance?
He's in a three-point stance.
I'm in a three-point stance.
Outside the laundry room.
With the pocket door shut. If there's a crack at the bottom, and I'm thinking, if this snake comes out, I've got to watch where it goes. So I tell Matt, not knowing that I'm really supposed to be watching for two snakes. Right. Little did I know there were two snakes.
Here's what
I
walk into. JB. We leave the show early. I totally diss the person who called in with these fantastic impressions.
I'm sorry.
He was really good with the Madden one. He was talking about their turduckens.
I should call him back. Get his number and call him back.
I hope he will call back, and I hope somebody will let him know I'm apologizing because so finally that ends. JB starts the music. I'm like, okay, I'll see y'all tomorrow. It was the weirdest ending, and here I go downstairs, and here's what I walk into. In one of the downstairs bathroom, our daughter and dogs are locked in the bathroom.
Mary Lydia's crying.
And she's crying.
She's the one who almost stepped on the snake and
JB,
saw it.
My daughter's the one who saw the snake first.
And yells at me, Mommy, there's a snake in the house.
Okay, so she's got them sequestered in a room with a door shut to protect them.
Sequestered. What a word.
I walk
they're
through,
sequestered,
and
right.
there's Annabeth like on guard in front of the closed door that goes in the line. There's a snake in there. Your daughter saw it. Get in there.
And I've already looked for it. By the way, I peeked in and it wasn't in the corner where I first saw it. So I'm thinking, well, where is it? Has it slithered in here while I ran up to tell Matt? Is it in the washing machine? Is it in Mary Lydia's backpack? All these things. And I'm thinking, if it's in this house, it's fast. Where is it?
All right.
I think I'd have gone outside.
In the meantime, before I even got off the air,
I was scared to go to the garage and open it.
Before I even got off the air to get down there, I'm getting texts from her that are saying things like this: "Get off the radio.
Get down here.
Get down here
right now.
Get down here now. I can't find the snake.
I've lost the snake." That's my last text. I've lost the snake.
I'm trying to get off the air, JB, without just leaving, and I'm thinking, if there's a snake in the house, she will never spend the night here again.
Mm-mm.
Period.
Oh, wow.
We'll be at a hotel tonight. That's what I'm thinking. So I'm so thankful that when I swung the door open and I go stepping in there, the first thing I did is I walk into the garage, I get some utensils, a shovel and a rake. It's just the nearest thing by the door. I come back into the mud room next to the laundry room, and I'm just looking around thinking, okay, where is this thing? Where is this thing? Right in the corner by an outside door is a basket full of doggy toys, plush, soft doggy, and a bunch of tennis balls and things
really
like that.
Really cute doggy toys that are now in the garbage.
And I look at it and I think, that's where the snake is, behind this. So as I begin to pull that basket back and look, sure enough, there goes a little slithering thing down into the basket, and another one comes slithering out. There are two snakes, a little one and a big one.
You didn't really tell me it was that big.
Well, I say a big one, because it was much bigger than the little one.
I didn't see that one.
Okay. And so then I take the rake, I pin the big one. It, can't move for a period of time, but as I'm reaching then to get the shovel with the other hand to hold it, because I'm going to keep him pinned with the rake and chop his head off, I must have let him up a little bit, and he takes off. And I've left the garage door open, or the door into the garage open, just in case. He gets loose and takes off into the garage.
And JB, mind you, Matt, Mr. Color Commentary, wasn't doing very well on telling me what's going on, because I'm on the other side of the door going, what's happening, Matt? Where is it? Are you there? Did you kill it? Have you seen it? All I get back from him is,
be quiet.
There's two.
Here's her. Blah, 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 blah. Motor mouth. Here's me. I'm trying to handle two snakes in one room.
And you let the big one go, so who knows where it is? Probably out in our yard. I can't even walk in the
Matt's
yard
being
now.
the public address announcer.
No, I'm not.
Play-by-play.
No, he wasn't giving me. He gave me no play-by-play.
I didn't know part of the responsibility was to continually update her on the status of the snakes.
He gets an F.
So I pin the one. It gets loose as I reach for the shovel.
Way to pin it down there.
It goes into the garage, which I'm fine with it going in the garage. I can handle it in there now. So
really?
Now I pick up the basket that I know has the other one in it. I go out into the driveway, dump all that out, and there's the little one who just curls up there. So I'm like, that one's not going anywhere. If it's not going to go far, I'm going back into the garage to look for the other. I go back in the garage. I see the other. I try
under
to
the treadmill. Under the treadmill.
The treadmill. I chase him out. He goes up pretty quick over to the corner there. I try to stab him with the shovel and miss. And that time he kicked it in high gear, 90 miles an hour.
Why didn't you just step on him with them large feet of yours?
I didn't have any shoes on. No shoes. He went around the corner and of the garage and out. He went out into the and slithers down into the pine straw in the flower bed out in the front. Right.
Just so people know, Matt never wears shoes.
Yeah, I'm not a shoe guy.
God.
Okay. And so then,
well, I guess his feet don't stink.
The big one has slithered off into the flower bed out front. I go back in the driveway, chop the little one in half with one thing. It's over. And we're done. We've eradicated the snake.
Except we've got $200 worth of dog toys and things that I've bought out there. And I just said, put them in the garbage. Put them in the garbage. I don't know what kind of germs a snake carries. I don't know what they leave behind. Just throw them away.
They're all gone.
Just pressure wash them. Matt's good at that.
Yeah.
Man, I'm just saying.
We've lived here 9 years. I think maybe I saw one snake one time in the front yard. I've never seen a snake in our yard. And now 2 in the mudroom the
and not to mention the one several months ago that we killed out here that was eating baby birds.
Yeah, it was hanging in the tree.
It was in a tree.
It wasn't really in our yard though. That was next door.
Kind of next door, but it was
count that.
Same kind of snake.
Well, you said it was a racer.
Well, not racer, but sometimes
this one. You said this was a little racer yesterday. Were you lying?
Little black racer.
Little black runner.
Hey, and he can go.
So
he's fast.
Did Matt, by chance, show you the meme I sent him last night?
No, he didn't show it to me.
Let me tell you something.
Time
out. JB?
Yeah.
Right now, this moment, almost not quite, but almost 24 hours later, is about the first time she's ready to look at any memes.
I couldn't talk. I had a hard time. I couldn't really sleep. I kept picturing there being another one.
Right.
I'm like, how do you know another one didn't get in? I've ordered stuff off Amazon. Within 30 minutes, I've got all these Snake Be Gone pellets I'm going to sprinkle out. I bought some things to stick under the door. We live in an older house. I thought, maybe if I order some of these, I don't know, what were they called? Like a door seal thing. We could put extra stuff. I mean, I had Matt duct tape under all doors last night just in case.
Wow.
Yes. Yeah. Yes, this is not easy for me to even talk about with you.
Well, it's probably a good thing he didn't show you the meme.
No. I probably don't.
It was from Raiders of the Lost Ark.
No, I don't need to
where
see
the guys
where
why did it have to be snakes?
Indiana Jones laying there in the snake crawling. Look, I tweeted out.
I can't even watch it.
Annie, I didn't tell you this, but I did tweet out the video clip from that movie Funny Farm and said something similar to this happened at our house yesterday, and I will tell the story on the radio.
You were very Clark-esque handling it.
What do you mean by that?
No shoes, and then you won't even tell me what's going on, and then you let the big one go. How can you let the big one go? Real nice.
No.
Real nice,
there is a difference between let him go and he got away. It's like fishing.
So now
he jumped
in our
off
yard.
the hook.
He's coming back. He knows how to get back.
There's catch and release in fishing.
There's catch and release.
You catch a fish, you release it. That's letting it go. He jumped off the hook. My line broke. That's he got away. I was doing my best.
Well,
he got away. This all started with, I'm doing my job. The door swings open. Get off the radio. There's a snake in the house.
Just lost it. What did you want me to do? Not tell you?
No, I wanted you to tell me. I just want you to understand that it's not the easiest thing to handle.
Well,
I tell you what, Annabeth, you did better than my wife would have done, because my wife would have gone back outside, got in her car, and drove around and called me and said, "I'm not coming in. There's a snake in the house."
Well, I thought about how can I get out, but I couldn't because they were in the room that goes out to the garage to where my car was.
Right. The snake was between her and her car.
I could not get out. And then Mary Liddy's crying in the bathroom. I go in there and she's sitting on the floor crying in the middle.
Is she better today?
She's better. She got over it a lot quickly.
Yeah, she was fine.
Quicker than I did.
She was fine.
She was like a pro, like a champ. And meanwhile, I'm still not okay.
Annabeth was the equivalent of like, when you get some people, you get an ant on your foot and it bites you, right? Well, the rest of the day, that person feels ants on them, but they're not. Like phantom ants, you just have one bite, you're like, oh, or you get a mosquito bite, and you're like, oh, there are mosquitoes everywhere. That's kind of how you were with the snakes.
Well, I just kept thinking, how long was that other snake in there? Could it have hurt the dogs? Could it have bitten Mary Liddy? How many more snakes have been in here? Do we know these are the only 2? Are they going to come in tonight? Is there a nest? Why were there 2? Are there a bunch in the garage somewhere? I don't know. I don't know snakes.
We're going to have to hold a healing for you.
Chris,
be healed from your snake mentality.
Chris on the Country Pleasing Sausage text line says, "Burn the place down."
Oh my gosh! See, I love our house. We can't burn it down. And then during the middle of it, the doorbell rang, and Mary Liddy screamed. And my sister said, "Why did she think the snake was ringing the doorbell to come in through the front door?" It was just a lot.
She sure did. Right?
Oh, this is one of those key moments in y'all's marriage that you will never forget.
Well, we're not going to forget it.
No, we won't forget it.
And I will never, ever let go of the screenshot of the texts that Annabeth was sending me while I was trying to get off the radio to go solve this thing.
And I'll never let go that you let the big one get away.
Hey, that's the story of my life.
Yeah.
Sort of. With the exception of you. I got you,
There you go.
Lucky you.
Winner, winner.
Winner, winner.
Get off the radio. There's a snake in the house.
It was rough.
In an unnormal year, grab a taste of normal at the College Corner Store with 2 locations.
Farm Bureau Insurance stands ready to provide financial relief to our communities in this time of crisis. This includes a one-time credit to all personal auto policyholders, a donation of $500,000 to the Mississippi Food Network, and additional payment options for those hit the hardest, all while continuing to service customer claims as well. But this is the time to go above and beyond. These are a few ways we're keeping the Farm Bureau promise. To learn more, talk to your agent or visit us online. Go with the home team.
Every farmer understands their farm can't thrive without some good partners like sun, soil, and rain. And farmers in North Mississippi also rely on another important partner, Mississippi Land Bank, because land and farm financing are Mississippi Land Bank's primary focus. We've grown alongside these farmers' crops for more than 100 years. We understand what a farmer needs, and we know the lay of the land in North Mississippi, and that's where I stand.
Bull. There's a lot of that out there in the wireless world. But C Spire believes that you deserve a plan that is what it actually says it is. Here's the real deal. The best plan for 1 or 2 lines. Unlimited talk and text with 10 gigabytes of high-speed data. And here's the real deal. $45 per line with auto pay and paperless billing. Even without auto pay, it's just $50. Now, how's that for the fine print? No bull. That's the real deal. Switch to C Spire today at cspire.com/real deal. C Spire, customer inspired. Man, that sounds like summertime in Mississippi, doesn't it? You know what else just screams summertime in Mississippi? Country Pleasing Sausage from Country Meat Packers in Florence. Check me out. Jalapeno and cheddar. Just got it at Kroger in Tupelo where I live. On grocery store shelves throughout the Southeast. Cut it up, throw it in the frying pan. Put it on a bun. Get some andouille, make some gumbo. It is the best sausage you've ever put in your mouth. country pleasing sauce. It's countrypleasing.com. It is made up of hand-picked hams, bacon, and pork loin. That's why it tastes so good. I even got this cool hat from there. Check them out. Go by the butcher shop there in Florence, or order it online, or look for it in grocery stores. Walk up in there and say, country pleasing, please.
A lot of people in the equipment world, things kind of go in trends, I guess, if you want to say it. So kind of the first big thing for 2020 that we look at when we start evaluating our business is going to be our turf equipment. That's kind of the first big push, because once everything, the water dries up and the grass starts growing, this is what everybody's looking to get. We carry the new Wright stand-up mower. Doesn't look like much, and it's dirty as all get out. But this thing is, and it costs just as much as zero turn. Not a cheap unit at all. I mean, if you go out there and look at that zero turn, this thing right here, I mean, it's got all your components from your big pumps to your
50,000 watts sports powerhouse. ESPN 105.9 The Zone and streaming.
Check it out online now
at thezone1059.com.
So basically, we don't know if we have a snake in the house or not. No, we do know there's not one in here right now. As best we can tell. I feel really bad because Nickelback was the first person to text the show on the Country Pleasing text line and said, "Are there holes in the Rush 3 Drop 8 zone defense other than just dinking and dunking?" See, we could talk football. We could have been 20 minutes, 30 minutes into a football conversation, but instead, because of yesterday.
Yeah, but we wouldn't have gotten to talk to the homecoming queen either.
I know, wasn't it? I mean, she's something else. I've always told her she should be on the radio here, like, permanently, but she just like, I'm too busy. I got other stuff to do. But anyway, everybody on Facebook, thank you for your comments. Joy, happy birthday to your daughter. If we have a name, we'd wish her a happy birthday. Thanks for tuning in. Mark on YouTube said, I hate snakes, LOL. Yep. Everybody said hello to, RLD, that's right. Choose Your Own Adventure Thursday. That's kind of what this was. As soon as we started the snake story, Sherry on Facebook said, got to sell the house. My mother commented and said, oh my gosh, snakes in the house. No. Says I would have gone to the motel. Yeah, I mean, I thought that's where we were headed if I couldn't find this thing. It was fine. Finding it was a must. Stephanie says she would have been just like Annabeth. Paul said that Mama says get you a bigger broom. Oh, a better broom. Bigger and better. That's probably the answer. Mike on YouTube said that he found one curled up behind his toilet in his bedroom as he was about to go to bed one night. Now, see, I always hear this kind of stuff, RLD. He says snakes can be super beneficial. Don't want them in the house, but I wouldn't just kill them indiscriminately. They keep the rats down. I might like rats even less. You know what? Not me. Not me, man. Look, I know that, some snakes beneficial. I've always heard that, and I get it, and some are. It's not that I'm scared of them. It's just if I see a snake, I'm killing it. I'm just being honest. Snakes are snakes. For me, this whole thing started in Genesis, and from then on, I see a snake, dead snake. That's the way I am, the way I will be from now on. Coffee Norman says, Matt and Annabeth, this is gold at your expense. My wife and 2 girls would have moved out before I got home. Jonathan on the Country Pleasing text line says, this snake story is better than any sports update you have planned. Trey said, what kind of snake? I don't know. A snake. It doesn't matter what kind of snake it is. And Bill in Madison said, JB, you may want to remind Matt that the black runners are considered endangered and harmless, the kitten rescuer. Yeah, look, man, I don't know what kind it was. It wasn't black. It had the vertical stripes on it, head to toe. Kill it. Kill the snake. All right. On the Davini Equipment phone line, Davini Equipment in Madison and in Jackson, your Kubota dealer, Bulldog Neil. What's up, Neil? What do I need to know?
Well, first of all, I have a real brief snake story. We had one get in the house, I don't know, about 10 years ago, and we were having some renovation done in my son's room, which is where the snake was, and it got into the wall, and I could not get him out, so he is forever entombed there. The only thing to do was to close it up. I couldn't get him out.
Mm-hmm.
But with that said, as opposed to ordering the snake away stuff that the homecoming queen ordered, mothballs.
Mothballs.
Because all that stuff is ground up mothballs. I use it I've got a cabin at deer camp. Every spring, I put a ton of them underneath it to keep them out of my cabin, and I've never had any problems of any ilk.
Okay.
But when you get that snake away product, if you smell it, it's just ground up mothballs, brother.
Really? So it's basically the same thing. Okay.
Yeah, you just send her down to the dollar store and tell her to get as many mothballs as she's comfortable with, and put them out where you want them, and they'll stay away.
Okay. And for your house, would you suggest putting them outside doors or inside the house, or like, what do you think?
I've never. My cabin at deer camp is got a crawl space. I put them in the crawl space. I've never put them inside because I don't particularly care for the smell.
Okay.
But if you ever smell that snake away product, that's what it is. It's mothballs.
Okay. Man, I appreciate it very much.
I hope it helps.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it very much. Yeah, like I say, we've been here a long time. We've only even seen a couple over the course of 9 years, much less a snake in the house, much less two of them. And I'm not the person that's like terrified of snakes. I've picked them up before, grab them behind the head, pick it up, and it's wiggling around. I've done all that stuff. I'm not someone who's like terrified of them. It's just, it's a different experience feeling when you're in the vicinity of two and it's in your house. Because honestly, part of it for me is I not only have to get this thing taken care of, I need to make sure I don't let it get loose and hide somewhere in this house, because if it does, we ain't ever coming back in here. She will not spend the night in here. So there's a little bit of pressure involved with the thing too. So I told you, all of the snake thing totally interrupted an excellent call from some coaches right at the end of yesterday's show. Lou Holtz, and then he handed the phone to John Gruden, and then he handed the phone to John Madden. We may be in luck. I may be right now on the Davini Equipment phone about to get a snake lesson from the reigning national champion football coach from LSU, Coach O, on the Davini Equipment phone line. What's up, O?
Hey, let me tell you this right now. When I was playing golf one time down over there at UPC down in New Orleans, I want to tell you this right now. The best thing to do when you got a snake on you is to get a 9-iron and just whack them on the head. That's how you take care of them. Then you can get a belt. You can make a belt out of them. Make some good gumbo out of it. That's pretty good.
Sounds good, Coach O. Hey, thanks, man. Thanks for the call. Hey, Coach O, you're not in the car with Coach Holtz, are you?
Hey, yeah, you just back here. We're about to go over there and get something to eat over at downtown Vicksburg. And it's going to be pretty good.
Coach Holtz, I'm really sorry that I was unable to concentrate on our conversation at the end of yesterday's show. I was totally preoccupied by the fact that my wife told me we had a snake in the house. I hope you can forgive me.
Oh, that's pretty good. I've had my share of scared with the snake, but the thing you got to realize is that you got the upper hand with the tools and the imposable thumb.
That's exactly right. Hey, listen, Coach Holtz, thanks for calling back. Would you say hi to Coach Gruden for me? I know you were with him yesterday. Would you say hello for me? I'm a big fan.
Yeah, let me just wake him up a little bit. Come on. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Hello, Matt.
Hey,
all right.
Hey, Coach Gruden, I'm a big fan. Thanks for being on with us.
All right, man. Sounds pretty good.
Listen, I apologize to Coach Holtz, but yesterday when you were on, I couldn't really pay attention. I was preoccupied. We had a snake in the house, and I'm glad I had a chance to apologize to you. I hope you forgive me.
I'll tell you what, man. It's no need to apologize, man. I know how bad a snake can be. I lived in Tampa, Florida, man. I know what it's like, man.
They have bigger snakes in Tampa than we have here. I hear.
Oh, yeah, man. They're pretty big, man. They're like a Spider 2 Live, Banana Cream Pie, Xbox, carries a 4, PlayStation 5, 468 Count Chocula, man. I'll tell you what.
I tell you what. That was fantastic. All right, Coach, call us back.
I want some turducken.
Oh, yeah. Hey, that's it. Also, I forgot. And would you also give my apologies to Coach Madden? I know he was on yesterday also.
Yeah, I'm here in the middle of the seat, but another thing to do with that snake is you can also put it in a turducken. You stuff it inside the duck, which is stuff it inside the sausage, which is stuffed inside the duck, which is stuffed inside the chicken, which is stuffed inside the turkey, which is stuffed inside your tummy, which is stuffed inside your home. That's just how it is,
I know. That's great. Coach Madden and Coach Gruden and Coach O and Lou Holtz all in the same car. Guys, y'all be safe in your travels. Call me back, okay?
All right.
All right. See you. Hey, let me tell you something, JB. That cat is talented.
Yeah, he is. He certainly is. That Coach O's pretty spot on.
The Coach O is pretty doggone spot on.
Especially when he makes some gumbo.
Yeah, he said the best thing to do with a snake is just hit it over the head with your 9-iron. And then, make a belt and make some gumbo with it. Oh, that was the old joke around here. If you're a bad golfer, people say when you're out playing golf, it looked like you were out there killing snakes. Hey, maybe there's a reason. Maybe there's a reason that popped up. Okay, look. Peanut Butter Falcon, Tyler, Caleb, Special K, Bully, Denzel, Lynn, Jason, coming to y'all. Over on YouTube, RLD, Mike, Caleb on Periscope, Terry, Paul. I'll get to everybody who's messaged me about our snake issue. We'll talk some football at some point. Stick around.
Farm Bureau Insurance stands ready to provide financial relief to our communities in this time of crisis. This includes a one-time credit to all personal auto policyholders, a donation of $500,000 to the Mississippi Food Network, and additional payment options for those hit the hardest, all while continuing to service customer claims as well. But this is the time to go above and beyond. These are a few ways we're keeping the Farm Bureau promise. To learn more, talk to your agent or visit us online. Go with the home team.
Every farmer understands their farm can't thrive without some good partners like sun, soil, and rain. And farmers in North Mississippi also rely on another important partner, Mississippi Land Bank, because land and farm financing are Mississippi Land Bank's primary focus. We've grown alongside these farmers' crops for more than 100 years. We understand what a farmer needs, and we know the lay of the land in North Mississippi, and that's where I stand.
Bull. There's a lot of that out there in the wireless world. But C Spire believes that you deserve a plan that is what it actually says it is. Here's the real deal. The best plan for 1 or 2 lines. Unlimited talk and text with 10 gigabytes of high-speed data. And here's the real deal. $45 per line with auto pay and paperless billing. Even without auto pay, it's just $50. Now, how's that for the fine print? No bull. That's the real deal. Switch to C Spire today at cspire.com/real deal. C Spire, customer inspired. Man, that sounds like summertime in Mississippi, doesn't it? You know what else just screams summertime in Mississippi? Country Pleasin' sausage from Country Meat Packers in Florence. Check me out. Jalapeno and cheddar. Just got it at Kroger in Tupelo where I live. On grocery store shelves throughout the Southeast. Cut it up, throw it in the frying pan, put it on a bun. Get some andouille, make some gumbo. It is the best sausage you've ever put in your mouth. Country Pleasin' sausage, countrypleasin.com. It is made up of hand-picked hams, bacon, and pork loin. That's why it tastes so good. I even got this cool hat from them. Check them out. Go by the butcher shop there in Florence, or order it online, or look for it in grocery stores. Walk up in there and say, Country Pleasin', please.
A lot of people in the equipment world, things kind of go in trends, I guess, if you want to say it. So kind of the first big thing for 2020 that we look at when we start evaluating our business is going to be our turf equipment. That's kind of the first big push, because once everything, the water dries up and the grass starts growing, this is what everybody's looking to get. We carry the new Wright stand-up mower. Doesn't look like much and it's dirty as all get out. But this thing is, and it costs just as much as zero turn. Not a cheap unit at all. I mean, if you go out there and look at that zero turn, this thing right here, I mean, it's got all your components from your big pumps to your commercial engine to your large steel deck. And these guys were the first ones to make
Wyatt Show. Talking more great sports for you, Mississippi.
Online transmission is ready, sir.
Live online at thezone1059.com and
keep your radio turned on
to ESPN 105.9, The Zone.
Back with you in the Farm Bureau studio, Farm Bureau Insurance. Go with the home team. They are your home team in the state of Mississippi. All 82 counties, your hometown heroes are your local Farm Bureau insurance agents. Terry on Periscope said sulfur powder sprinkled 8 inches wide around your chosen perimeter is effective. Available at the co-op. People are saying mothballs. Neil called in with mothballs as a suggestion. Lynn on the Country Pleasin' text line for snakes says, Matt, mothballs will work. I use them. I go around the perimeter of my yard. Okay. All right, then. Why not try it? Peanut Butter Falcon on the Country Pleasin' text line says, if it's poisonous, the smaller ones are actually more dangerous. They can't control the amount of their venom. She should be thanking you, Matt. Peanut Butter Falcon, I'm going to take a screenshot of this and I'm going to send it to her. The whole thing was funny. Tyler sent me a link to a YouTube video, something called the Snake Skills comedy bit. Snake Skills? All right, I'm going to look that one up. Caleb has an excellent point right here, which ties it back into sports here on the Country Pleasin' text line. Caleb says, you could have caught the snake if you'd rushed 3 and dropped 8.
That's a good one.
Yeah, good?
Yep.
Bully Bill. So every time I kill one and someone says it was a good snake, I'll always reply, it is now. Exactly right. He's a good snake now. It won't bother anybody. White Denzel says, sounds like it was an eastern garter snake.
He got that from Mutual Omaha's Wild Kingdom.
He's been looking in the encyclopedia, hasn't he?
Yeah, well, Marlon Perkins would always say, I'm going to stand on the side of the Amazon while Jim goes in and wrestles the anaconda.
I'll stand here and report.
Yeah.
That's what Annabeth wanted me to go take care of it and report simultaneously.
She didn't want the public address you were being. She wanted.
I'm serious. This actually happened. Now this would embarrass her, but this actually happened. I go in the little mud room outside of the laundry room. I shut the sliding door behind me. She's on the other side of it in the living room, out there just yapping away. What's going on? What's happening? How many? What? There are 2? Do you have it? What happened? Where is it? Is it coming in here? And at one point, I opened the door and I said, "Would you hush? Zip it." I sure did. Jason in Flagstaff. I totally agree. Okay, listen. Our man with the impressions, I'm only going to give it away once here. His name, he calls in as Ryan, and I'm just putting out an all points bulletin right here. Okay, an APB, all points bulletin. Ryan, I need your contact info. You are certainly a talented dude and hilarious at that. Jason, I agree. Jason in Flagstaff says, LOL, that dude's hilarious. Yeah, I want to know how to get in touch, Ryan. I got some ideas for you. I'm going to make you famous if I can. Special K sent me a picture of a house on fire.
It's a Talking Heads song too,
yeah.
Burning down the house.
Burning down the house. And on the Country Pleasing text line, we had a snake if y'all are tuning in, we had a snake in the house yesterday, right at the end of the radio show. We talked to Annabeth about it at the beginning. Unnamed texter says snakes hate ammonia. It's from South Delta Bulldog. Gotcha. Thank you. Denzel says, Matt, I have to give you and JB props yesterday at the end of your show. A song called A Big Black Car by Gregory Alan Isikoff was played. Until yesterday, I thought I was the only person in Mississippi who had heard that song. Thank you all for playing it. Yeah, I'm a huge fan of Gregory Alan Isikoff. He's really good. Look him up. And there was someone yesterday who suggested 3 musicians saying, if you like this one, you like that. And I wish I didn't have a chance to write them down. As you could imagine, I can go back and find it. I wish I had those. Jason in Flagstaff says, LOL, you're getting a whole bunch of snake myths from folks. Garter snakes have 3 stripes and are pretty obvious in North Mississippi. Yeah, stripes going vertically from head to... I think that's what it was. I don't care what it is. Snake's a snake. It has no legs. I'm chopping that head off. All right. And a few more of these. Okay. RLD on YouTube said, if I find a venomous snake in the yard, I'll kill it. If it's a garden, harmless snake, I'll leave him alone. I think a lot of people do that. And that's fine. Mike says, yeah, if they're outside, I'll let them be. I certainly don't go chasing them. I mean, I see one. Now, if I see a venomous snake, it's obvious. You see a copperhead, a cottonmouth, some type of rattlesnake, anything like that, I'll go kill it. Get rid of them. But yeah, I mean, I've had times different places you might see one, just let it go. Paul said, I still remember my mom's, this is on Facebook. He said, I still remember my mom screaming after she found a large snake in the house as a kid. The worst, he said it was a large chicken snake. He said the worst mistake I ever made was replicating the event with a rubber snake a few days later. Matt, for the love of God, do not make that same mistake. For some reason, women don't appreciate that humor. Look, like I say, I sent out the little quick video of the scene from Funny Farm with Chevy Chase. By the way, happy 77th birthday, Chevy Chase. Where his character he caught a snake while he was fishing and it chased him and it wound up going in the house and he was like, oh no. The last thing he sees is it slithering in the house and then you just hear this blood-curdling scream by his wife who's in the house. I tweeted that out and said, as a tease for the show. I started to send that video clip to Annabeth and then I thought, no, I'm not sending her that.
That's why you told me time out, not to tell her about the Raiders or the Lost Ark.
Don't tell her that. No. Miss Dinah on Facebook says, don't make fun of HQ, Homecoming Queen. It's true fear. She says, one night I woke up to a noise in our bedroom and I saw a squirrel run into our bathroom. She said, it was like my voice was on repeat. I kept saying, squirrel in the bathroom, over and over. Jimmy closed the door and got him out by putting him in a box. Squirrel in the bathroom, squirrel in the bathroom, squirrel in the bathroom. You want to make sure he knew that there was a squirrel in the bathroom. And I totally get it. One time I caught a mouse. We had a mouse had a big garden tub with the jets in it, you know, and in the middle of the night, there was a mouse in there. And I get up, I'm in my underwear. I say middle of the night. It was like, I don't know, 5:30, 6 a.m. I'm in my underwear. I go in there and trap the little mouse in a bucket and put a thing on top of it. And I go walking to the front door, go out in the yard, take the bucket and put the mouse out. I'm in my underwear. And then about that time, the mouse stopped and turned and looked at me. In the yard, I look at it, and then I realize my neighbor, the woman that lives right across the street, is standing out here picking up her newspaper, looking at me the whole time. And I'm in nothing but my underwear. She's just staring right at me. Well, then I look at the mouse, and the mouse starts chasing me. It hops in my direction. So I took off running back to the front door. I'm half running because she's looking at me in my underwear. I run to the front door, go back in the house, and look out the window, and the mouse hopped back up to the front door and just sat right there on my porch looking at me like, open the door and let me in.
It's doing the Fred Flintstone.
Yeah, and I'm looking, and there's my neighbor over there. She's just looking in the whole time, watching this whole thing. No telling how she told that story. Real C on the Davini Equipment phone line. A pleasure for us on the show. Real C, what's up?
Matt, you're only an hour in. You've already eclipsed that hour or so.
An hour
in. Hey,
in.
Look, real quick.
Okay, what's up?
Somebody made a Mutual of Omaha Wild Kingdom reference. I can kind of see you as Jim and old Brojo as old host there. And if you remember watching those shows, you might have a anaconda or something like that in the ditch. And old Jim would jump down there in that ditch. You know, he's wrestling with that anaconda or whatnot.
Yeah.
He starts turning a little shade of blue once that sucker gets all wrapped around him. Well, they cut the commercial. They come back from commercial. Jim's all cleaned up. Everybody's standing around swimming, and look real closely. The natives are all wearing new anaconda skin boots.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. That is good. Thanks for the call. My man called in as Coach O. I agree. Look, I'm getting messages. Somebody just texted me and said, you might want to start talking some football. People are probably ready for that. I mean, it's an hour of snake. Okay, listen, this has been one solid hour of snake talk, and I get it. Gail on Facebook says, change the subject, Matt. Yeah. Well, we're going to do it. Okay, we're putting the snake story to bed. I appreciate all the remedies, the advice. I am kind of confused because Jason is a self-proclaimed snake expert out in Flagstaff, Arizona, and he texts me that people are sending me a bunch of myths, so I'm not really sure which to believe and which not. So listen, coming up next, no more snake stories. We're strictly going to talk football. Yeah, the weather's going to affect things, and it already has. So it moved the LSU game to Missouri, and it is moving the start time for the Ole Miss-Alabama game. If you don't know, I'll give you that info coming up next. I'm Matt in the Farm Bureau studio.
Hey, before you run away.
Snakes and all.
Yeah, before you run away, can we do a team-by-team study and start with the Florida A&M Rattlers?
The Rattlers! Is that the only team we know of that has a snake as a mascot? I think so. They stand alone. Get off the radio. There's a snake in the house. All right, football next. Stick around.
Farm Bureau Insurance stands ready to provide financial relief to our communities in this time of crisis. This includes a one-time credit to all personal auto policyholders, a donation of $500,000 to the Mississippi Food Network, and additional payment options for those hit the hardest, all while continuing to service customer claims as well. But this is the time to go above and beyond. These are a few ways we're keeping the Farm Bureau promise. To learn more, talk to your agent or visit us online. Go with the home team.
Every farmer understands their farm can't thrive without some good partners like sun, soil, and rain. And farmers in North Mississippi also rely on another important partner, Mississippi Land Bank, because land and farm financing are Mississippi Land Bank's primary focus. We've grown alongside these farmers' crops for more than 100 years. We understand what a farmer needs, and we know the lay of the land in North Mississippi, and that's where I stand.
Bull. There's a lot of that out there in the wireless world. But C Spire believes that you deserve a plan that is what it actually says it is. Here's the real deal. The best plan for 1 or 2 lines. Unlimited talk and text with 10 gigabytes of high-speed data. And here's the real deal. $45 per line with auto pay and paperless billing. Even without auto pay, it's just $50. Now, how's that for the fine print? No bull. That's the real deal. Switch to C Spire today at cspire.com/real deal. C Spire, customer inspired. Man, that sounds like summertime in Mississippi, doesn't it? You know what else just screams summertime in Mississippi? Country Pleasing sausage from Country Meat Packers in Florence. Check me out. Jalapeno and cheddar. Just got it at Kroger in Tupelo where I live. On grocery store shelves throughout the Southeast. Cut it up, throw it in the frying pan. Put it on a bun. Get some andouille, make some gumbo. It is the best sausage you've ever put in your mouth. Country Pleasing sausage, countrypleasing.com. It is made up of hand-picked hams, bacon, and pork loin. That's why it tastes so good. I even got this cool hat from them. Check them out. Go by the butcher shop there in Florence, or order it online, or look for it in grocery stores. Walk up in there and say, Country Pleasing, please.
A lot of people in the equipment world, things kind of go in trends, I guess, if you want to say it. So kind of the first big thing for 2020 that we look at when we start evaluating our business is going to be our turf equipment. That's kind of the first big push, because once everything, the water dries up and the grass starts growing, this is what everybody's looking to get. We carry the new Wright stand-up mower. Doesn't look like much and it's dirty as all get out. But this thing is, and it costs just as much as zero turn. Not a cheap unit at all. I mean, if you go out there and look at that zero turn, this thing right here, I mean, it's got all your components from your big pumps to your commercial engine to your large steel deck. And these guys were the first ones to make the standard mower.
Hey, are you buying land or selling it? You need to let Matt Anderson with National Land Realty help you out. Matt Anderson Properties. Here's what Matt can do. If you're buying land, you can view the property without ever setting foot on it. They've got the 360-degree interactive drone touring. It's really cool. You got to check it out. And if you're selling property, Matt's going to get you consistent reports, comprehensive reports of who's looking, how many people looked at your listing. You need to let him help you. Matt Anderson Properties with National Land Realty. Call him, 601-408-5155. Hey, if you listen to the show, you know that the new third hour of the Matt Wyatt Show is brought to you by Overstreet Properties in Starkville. Here's what you need to know. If you're looking for a weekend home or condo, full-time residence, investment property, maybe just an apartment to lease, you got a student going to school at State, call Kane Overstreet at Overstreet Properties. In Starkville, it's 323-8618, or look them up online, overstreetproperties.com.
ESPN 105.9 The Zone.
All right, back with you, starting hour number 2. I'm Matt in the Farm Bureau studio. Farm Bureau, go with the home team. They are your home team at Farm Bureau Insurance. Hometown heroes, your local Farm Bureau insurance agents in all 82 counties across the state of Mississippi. Not only county offices, but several in certain places, and lots of different agents who are local to you, right down the road, somebody you can deal with one-on-one, face-to-face, which is really what you want. You can trust me on that. Thanks for tuning in here today, hour 2. I'm Matt. JB is here driving this bus. A couple of hours left with you here on this Thursday. Looking ahead to football tonight. A lot of high school football games. We'll get into some of those in hour number 3, kind of look at the schedule. You know, there have been some adjustments throughout the week. So if the last time you looked at the high school schedule was, say, Monday or Tuesday, well, a lot of games got moved from Friday up to Thursday. There's even a few that I think have gotten pushed back to Saturday. So we'll kind of look at the updated schedule. And you do have college football going on tonight also. So we'll jump into that, look at the schedule, and the weather is going to affect some of that also. All right, so you text me this way, 601-885-ESPN. That's pretty easy to remember. 885-ESPN. That's a 601 number. You text that, I'll see it. If you need the number itself, it's 885-3776. Call me on the Davini phone, Davini Equipment in Madison and in Jackson, your Kubota dealer. They are the oldest Kubota dealer in the U.S. In fact, means they've been doing it better, longer than anyone else. Here's a number to call me, 995-1059, 601-995-1059. Paul, watching the live stream on Facebook, says, enjoyed hearing from the homecoming queen today. Yeah, everybody likes hearing Annabeth and my daughter Mary Liddy when she's on the show some, and I enjoy it too. I need to get Mary Liddy to tell her version of the snake story. She's the first one who saw it. Anyway, thanks for the kind words. We need to do that more often. We really do. All right, so what is the schedule? And what is going to happen? I think the most notable thing here since we talked yesterday is that the Ole Miss Alabama game has been pushed back to 6:30 on Saturday because of weather. So no change in venue on the same day. Just going to be a few hours later than it was initially scheduled. Okay, if you're looking for it on television, it'll still be on ESPN. So the TV update, here's what we have. They've shifted a couple of things around to make it work in the SEC this weekend with changing the LSU-Missouri game and game times and all that. So just so we know, Missouri versus LSU is going to be at 11 a.m. on the SEC Network alternate channel. And if you look, if you go to, let's see here, if you look up SEC Network on Twitter, they have a link out there to how to find the SEC Network alternate channel in your area, like wherever you are. So you may want to access that, bookmark it or something. You may need it later. Like State's game was on the alternate channel last week. But that'll be the LSU-Missouri game. They're putting it on the alternate channel. They moved it up to Columbia, Missouri. 11 a.m. kick on Saturday for that one. You got Arkansas going to Auburn. Isn't that right? Yeah. Arkansas going to Auburn. That is at 3 o'clock on ESPN. I think that's initially the slot where you had Alabama Ole Miss, but that's going to be Arkansas Auburn, 3 o'clock on ESPN, and then right after that on ESPN at 6:30 p.m. is when you'll have Alabama Ole Miss, which for, if we're kind of doing deductive reasoning there, then what that is they're thinking that most of the bad rain in Oxford and stuff is going to be what? Friday night, Saturday morning early, or Saturday. Then it kind of gets out of there, slacks up, so you kick off. You may have a wet field, but you get to play in better conditions and maybe safer conditions Saturday night. So that's the update on those. Any questions? There are other things popping up, but we'll see if that matters. Georgia Southern added a game with UMass. UMass decided to play football, so they're looking to put a schedule together and all that kind of stuff. So, but in terms of SEC games, that's the adjustment right there. So let's take a look at this. Here it is on Thursday. A lot of this stuff has started to take shape. Tonight on ESPN, you've got Tulane at Houston. And it's something, Tulane's 2-1, and pretty good football team. By the way, Tulane quarterbacked by a Mississippi kid from Laurel, Keon Howard. He's a starting quarterback at Tulane. He is a Southern Miss transfer. But they're 2-1, but an underdog. Houston has not played a game. They were supposed to have played a couple. Right? They were supposed to play Baylor. They had another one scheduled, and they have not been able to get a single game in for COVID reasons. And this will be the first one. But they're a favorite in their opener for Houston at home. They're a 6.5-point favorite, that according to ESPN. And that's on tonight in Houston as they host Tulane. Then tomorrow, if you want to watch college football, you can. Tomorrow on Friday, tomorrow night on ESPN at 6, Louisville at Georgia Tech. A couple of ACC teams. Louisville a favorite on the road. Louisville's 1-2. Both of their losses are in the ACC. Georgia Tech is 1-2, but they are 1-1 in the ACC. Okay, SEC games. You already know like most of these, but just to reiterate, 11 a.m. on Saturday, you got Florida at Texas A&M. It's 4th-ranked Florida at 21st-ranked Texas A&M. James on YouTube is asking me which games do I like. I'm assuming you're asking regarding, winners, losers, that kind of thing. I don't ever do the gambling deal and talk about point spreads and who covers and who doesn't. But, I like Florida to go in there and win it. I think they're a touchdown favorite. But Florida will win the ball game. I think it's just a matter of how and by how much, honestly. So I like Florida to win at Texas A&M. That's 11 a.m. on ESPN. So you'll see Florida and A&M right after game day goes off the air. They'll, go right over to College Station. At that same time, like we said, 11 a.m. on the SEC Network alternate channel, you're going to have Missouri hosting LSU. It's technically a home game for LSU, but they had to switch it. 11 a.m. on the SEC Network is Vandy hosting South Carolina. Both teams 0-2 and looking for their first win. South Carolina is about a 2-touchdown favorite and, should play out that way, but never know. The 2:30 CBS is Tennessee at Georgia, and I like Georgia. Score, I don't know. It's interesting to me because I do think Tennessee's got a chance to be more competitive with them than Auburn was. But, week one, of course, it was in Arkansas. Arkansas was pretty competitive with them. JB made a good point that you had Sam Pittman coaching Arkansas, who's very familiar with Georgia's personnel and some of their schemes and stuff because, well, I say some of their schemes, probably their defensive stuff. But regardless, Arkansas was competitive with Georgia for a couple of quarters. I think Tennessee will be too. Expect Georgia to win the game, kind of pull away. But I do think Tennessee, because of their offensive line, and, senior quarterbacks usually go into games like that and handle it a little better. We'll see. But I think Georgia wins, just it could be closer than people think. 3 o'clock on ESPN is Arkansas at Auburn, as we said. And also at 3 o'clock, Southern Miss is hosting Florida Atlantic. By the way, I don't see any television for that one for the Southern Miss game. But Southern Miss got a win last week. They're 1-3 now. Florida Atlantic is 1-0. So FAU at Southern Miss, 3 o'clock in Hattiesburg. Mentioned to you, they moved the Alabama at Ole Miss game back to 6:30 in Oxford. That's on ESPN. So that'll be on at the same time, 6:30 SEC Network. State is at Kentucky. State 1-1. Kentucky 0-2, but Kentucky about a, field goal favorite at home, something like that. And it certainly is a must-win for Kentucky. If I were to say who I like in the game, I actually like Mississippi State. Now, I know weather could play a factor, but when I look at it, I look at State's defense and kind of what they've done, what they have shown you they're capable of, and they're going to play a team that primarily runs the ball. And State's been good against the run. I think Kentucky's going to score, but it has one of those feelings to me. after a loss. You probably practice well. You get grounded. State, and I know Kentucky's in that scenario too, but State doesn't necessarily have the pressure on it in this game. I think that Kentucky does. I think they'll be free. I think they'll make some plays. So I like State in the ball game. How much, I don't know. All right, elsewhere around the country, outside of the SEC, here's what you have. What do you think about these? On ABC at 11 o'clock, you're going to get Virginia Tech at North Carolina. I like North Carolina. I saw a thing on Twitter, North Carolina's going to wear black jerseys. Lots of blue and white, but black jerseys. But both teams are 2-0. Both teams good. Both teams in the top 20. Of course, North Carolina ranked in the top 10. Really good quarterback. Sam Howell off to an okay start. 39 out of 60, 520 yards and 3 touchdowns throwing the ball. And they're at home. So I like North Carolina to win that one. At 11 a.m. on Fox, the game will be the shootout. They don't call it that anymore, though, do they, JB? The Red River Shootout between Texas and Oklahoma. Didn't they change the name?
Yeah, I think this year it won't be much of a shootout since they're both playing with blanks.
They're firing blanks. Yeah. Attaboy. Well, Texas.
Yeah, but that's what they used to call it because it's during the it's in the middle of the Texas State Fair.
Yeah. What do they call it now? The Red River Rivalry, I think.
Yeah,
what they call it.
So it's the preacher alliteration auras.
Yeah. Right. It's in the old Cotton Bowl out in Dallas, outdoor stadium. So Texas is ranked 22. They're 2-1. Oklahoma's unranked and 0-2 in the Big 12. I was looking at this. We make a big deal out of the stats through a couple of games for KJ Costello. Costello, because of the big day at LSU, has thrown for 936 yards this year. That's in 2 games. And the Oklahoma quarterback has thrown for 977 in 3 games. Kind of shows you that Oklahoma's a little below average for them of what they normally do. But it just has that feel of a game that Oklahoma wins. 0-2, gotten punched in the mouth. Maybe they're not that great, but in comes Texas and Oklahoma beats them. That's kind of the way it feels to me. And I think Oklahoma is actually a small favorite in the game. I like Oklahoma to win it. 11 a.m. on ESPN2 is Louisiana Monroe at Liberty. Liberty, a huge favorite in the game. They are 3-0, by the way, under Hugh Freeze this year. Louisiana Monroe 0-4. That one will be on ESPN2 at 11 if you want to watch Coach Freeze coach. ACC Network 11 a.m. game is going to be NC State at Virginia. Okay, whatever. 11:30 online, Duke at Syracuse. 12:30 CBS Sports Network, the Citadel at Army. 2:30 ESPN2, Texas San Antonio at BYU. Could be actually a little better game than you think, but BYU sure has been outstanding. They're 3-0. Huge favorite in the game at home there. All right, here we go. 2:30 on ABC. Texas Tech at Iowa State. So you get a Big 12 game on ABC at 2:30 on Saturday. ACC Network at 3, Pittsburgh at Boston College. 3 o'clock on Fox. Kansas State, 2-1. They're at TCU, 1-1. Didn't TCU beat Oklahoma last week? I mean, I think they did. And so I guess, you got the battles of 2 teams that both have beaten Oklahoma this year. 3 o'clock ESPNU is Conference USA, Middle Tennessee at Florida International. Let's see if any others jump out at you. Temple goes to Navy this weekend. Okay, here you go. 6:30 on ABC. Now, JB, think about this question.
All right.
7th-ranked Miami, 3-0. At number 1 Clemson, 3-0. Clemson, a 2-touchdown favorite. Somebody tweeted, and I thought it was an interesting question. When is the last time that Clemson genuinely got up to play an ACC game? Now, think about that.
Well, you would hope they'd get up for every game.
Right.
But to really be inspired, it's probably been at least a couple years.
I know. It feels like they can and do just kind of, ho-hum their way through the ACC conference schedule to get to the postseason.
Yeah, I mean, I guess maybe, Syracuse beat them 3 years ago.
Yeah.
And then they had Syracuse back at home. I don't know if it was last year or year before, but I remember that game. They came out and just took them to the woodshed. The Orangemen became the Orange Crushed after they got through with them.
After they get through them, yeah. Okay, Denzel, thanks for the correction on that. On the Country Pleasing text line, he said Iowa State beat Oklahoma last week. TCU beat Texas last week. I knew TCU beat somebody. Things are a little.
I can't remember who it was on the text line earlier this week, but somebody said, hey, if you woke up in Texas on Monday, you woke up and TCU was the best team in the state.
Isn't that funny?
Oh, take that, you Aggies, you Horns.
Take that, Aggies.
The Horned Toads are number one.
Well, and the thing is, week to week, I don't think we really know anything about anybody. Week to week, And I would illustrate that this way. If Texas A&M were to up and beat Florida, there may be a little bit of surprise, but nobody'd be just floored, shocked. Okay.
Besides me.
Besides you.
I look for Florida to go in there and just lower the boom.
Okay.
The only thing that's keeping me from being like 2,000% in is the Gators' defense. It's just,
Yeah, meh.
Yeah, it's or as Brooke would say, no.
No. Okay, so 6:30 on ABC is Miami at Clemson. 6:30 on NBC is Florida State at Notre Dame. Notre Dame ought to walk in that one, but we'll see. Stranger things, man. 6:30, you're gonna have some games. So those two at 6:30. Of course, the Alabama at Ole Miss game at 6:30. State fans will be watching State and Kentucky at 6:30. 6:30 on ESPN2, you're going to have UTEP at Louisiana Tech. Marshall will go to Western Kentucky. And then you get a 7 o'clock game scheduled for Saturday night. Charlotte goes to North Texas. That one on ESPNU. That UAB and Rice game got postponed this week. And that's pretty much it when you look around college football games that are scheduled and will be happening on Saturday. It's really... kind of front-loaded, a lot of good stuff at 11 a.m. Of course, you get the 2:30 Tennessee, Georgia, but, like I say, I that's one where I expect Tennessee to put up a fight and be competitive for a couple of quarters, and then you look up at the end of the ball game and Georgia's winning it by, 3 touchdowns. That's kind of how you expect that one to look. But the 6:30 time slot is pretty juiced Saturday night, if we're being honest. And, again, if I were to just go like scrolling through, which teams you like Clemson to beat Miami, obviously Notre Dame to beat Florida State. If you were looking at some that aren't as obvious, maybe like we said, Texas, Oklahoma. I like Oklahoma. I know Texas is ranked and all, but I like Oklahoma in that one to figure it out, outcoach them, if you will. Like North Carolina at home, like State on the road, Alabama in Oxford. Like Auburn at home against Arkansas. Yeah, hey, listen to this, JB. Somebody brought up this point. I think I saw it on Twitter. Apparently, when talking about how Arkansas is improved from last year to this year, they asked Gus Malzahn, who's got to play him this week, you see the improvement. And he went on to talking about how well coached they are this year. When he's the one who, when they fired Chad Morris last year from Arkansas, Gus Malzahn went and hired him and brought him in to coach his offense.
Yeah, I know it, right?
And so far, the Auburn offense has been what? Atta boy. You knew that was coming.
Yeah, I did.
Atta boy. I mean, yeah, it's just, that's a little weird to me. They had to have the relationship there. And Chad Morris has been a good offensive coach in his career. He was good at Clemson. He was good. They put up some numbers when he was at SMU, and that's what led him to get the Arkansas job. But,
well, I think that was one of the reasons that he hired Morris, because the fan base and some of the alumni were giving him a hard time because he wouldn't, give his offense up to anybody else. He kept getting it back and wanted to call the plays, and so he hires Morris, and that gives him another year. But if you watch that Georgia-Florida game, Georgia-Auburn game,
yeah,
man, Auburn was putrid.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and also Auburn's top linebacker is out for this game. KJ Britt for Auburn's going to have surgery to repair damaged ligaments in his right hand and thumb. He may be able to return later this season, but he's not going to play this weekend. So he's out against Arkansas. What I haven't heard from Arkansas coming out of last week's game is the health of Boyd, their running back, who left the ballgame and never came back in. So I know that will, that would be something Arkansas fans are certainly hoping and praying for. You look out there and you see that Auburn's best linebacker's out. Man, if you could sure have your number one back in there, that could be a difference. But I don't know. Something tells me that game's going to be competitive. Like I said, I think Auburn wins it. They're at home, probably a better roster, right? And probably because of what they do, I don't know, maybe a little harder to defend at this point in the year. But still, I don't know. Arkansas's got some confidence. They were physical. I think they are coached well. They kind of believe in their system now and what their coaches are telling them after you go get a win. And so I think that game may be competitive. I think it just might be competitive. That's what I think. Hey, the SEC is going to fine you or maybe even ban you if you're a coach and you don't follow coronavirus protocol. I'll tell you what's in this release from the SEC. Last week, they kind of said, hey, coaches, you're supposed to wear masks now. Wear them. So you got that last week. Well, they're stepping it up a notch this week. I'll tell you what it's going to cost you if you mess it up and you're a coach in the SEC. I'm Matt in the Farm Bureau studio on this Thursday. Thanks for tuning in. Long ways to go. Stay with me.
Farm Bureau Insurance stands ready to provide financial relief to our communities in this time of crisis. This includes a one-time credit to all personal auto policyholders, a donation of $500,000 to the Mississippi Food Network, and additional payment options for those hit the hardest, all while continuing to service customer claims as well. But this is the time to go above and beyond. These are a few ways we're keeping the Farm Bureau promise. To learn more, talk to your agent or visit us online. Go with the home team.
Every farmer understands their farm can't thrive without some good partners like sun, soil, and rain. And farmers in North Mississippi also rely on another important partner, Mississippi Land Bank, because land and farm financing are Mississippi Land Bank's primary focus. We've grown alongside these farmers' crops for more than 100 years. We understand what a farmer needs, and we know the lay of the land in North Mississippi, and that's where I stand.
Bull. There's a lot of that out there in the wireless world. But C Spire believes that you deserve a plan that is what it actually says it is. Here's the real deal. The best plan for 1 or 2 lines. Unlimited talk and text with 10 gigabytes of high-speed data. And here's the real deal. $45 per line with autopay and paperless billing. Even without autopay, it's just $50. Now, how's that for the fine print? No bull. That's the real deal. Switch to C Spire today at cspire.com/real deal. C Spire, customer inspired. Man, that sounds like summertime in Mississippi, doesn't it? You know what else just screams summertime in Mississippi? Country Pleasin' sausage from Country Meat Packers in Florence. Check me out. Jalapeno and cheddar. Just got it at Kroger in Tupelo where I live. On grocery store shelves throughout the Southeast. Cut it up, throw it in the frying pan. Put it on a bun. Get some andouille, make some gumbo. It is the best sausage you've ever put in your mouth. Country Pleasin' sausage, countrypleasin.com. It is made up of hand-picked hams, bacon, and pork loin. That's why it tastes so good. I even got this cool hat from it. Check them out. Go by the butcher shop there in Florence, or order it online, or look for it in grocery stores. Walk up in there and say, Country Pleasin', please.
a lot of people in the equipment world, things kind of go in trends, I guess, if you want to say it. So kind of the first big thing for 2020 that we look at when we start evaluating our business is going to be our turf equipment. That's kind of the first big push, because once everything, the water dries up and the grass starts growing, this is what everybody's looking to get. We carry the new Wright stand-up mower. Doesn't look like much, and it's dirty as all get out. But this thing is, and it costs just as much as zero turn. Not a cheap unit at all. I mean, if you go out there and look at that zero turn, this thing right here, I mean, it's got all your components from your big pumps to your commercial engine to your large steel deck. And these guys were the first ones to make the standard mower.
Hey, are you buying land or selling it? You need to let Matt Anderson with National Land Realty help you out. Matt Anderson Properties. Here's what Matt can do. If you're buying land, you can view the property without ever setting foot on it. They've got the 360-degree interactive drone touring. It's really cool. You got to check it out. And if you're selling property, Matt's going to get you consistent reports. Oh, yeah. Back with you. A little ways to go. I tell you, man, recounting the snake story took a lot out of me. It took a lot out of me, JB.
Oh, look, I was with a buddy yesterday. We were eating on some boiled peanuts that he had fixed the day before.
I saw the picture. It looked fantastic.
Oh, they were excellent. And your phone called. You called me, and I picked it up. I told him when I got off the phone, because he's a pest man.
Yeah.
And he said, man, I can take care of him. Take care of him. I said, well, Tupelo's a long way to go. He said, I can do it.
So what was this? You had a buddy send us a picture. He went fishing and
yeah, that's hog jowl.
That's hog jowl and the stuff he caught up at Lake Ouachita.
Yeah, and he sent me a separate one of his wife caught a 6.6 pound bass.
Really?
Yeah, and she wanted to keep it, but he told him she needed to release it, and she finally let it go. I don't know if it spent some time in the live well before it went back.
Yeah, you catch that trophy. Sometimes it's hard to turn it loose. Well, that's cool. Tell him I said thanks for the picture.
I'll do it.
That's neat to see. Wish I had been there. Yeah, and I need to address this too. I did make the comment in passing, just kind of a throwaway comment. Jason in Flagstaff, I said, was a self-proclaimed snake expert. I didn't mean it negatively, Jason. He texted me. He said, I never said I was an expert. Self-proclaimed. He said, that one hurt me, Wyatt. Was trying to help because I kind of know what I'm talking about with the wildlife in the South. Didn't want you to be steered wrong by old wives' tales. LOL. I just wonder which one was the wives' tale. Was it the mothballs thing? Is that the wives' tale?
I don't know. I've heard that before too. So, but then again, I haven't had the pleasure of having snakes in my house.
Hey, we're going to have a head-to-head matchup preview. Snakes in your head is totally different. That's a different story.
That's right.
Head-to-head matchup preview coming up in a little while here in hour number 2 over at Winsipedia.com. Wins, the letter I, pedia.com, Winsipedia. We'll look at a matchup happening this weekend, look at series history. We may do a couple, in fact. May look at a couple different matchups, look at series history, and kind of compare the two programs historically. That'll be a lot of fun. So that is coming up. This is something I've mentioned this before, throwing it out there. Today is Clark W. Griswold's 77th birthday. Chevy Chase, the comedian. Happy 77th birthday to him. One of my favorite throwaway things.
Danny, when you were my age, did you ever have trouble deciding what you wanted to do with your life?
No, I've never had that problem, really. Why?
Forget it. I didn't think you'd understand.
You take drugs, Danny?
Every day.
Good.
Good. One of my favorite throwaway lines from Clark on Christmas Vacation is when after he had lost his mind, basically, and he was up there and he mistakenly said he was trying to say we needed a new tree, and he actually called it a coffin.
We needed a coffin?
A tree. There are no lots open on Christmas Eve. Lewis burned down my tree, so I replaced it as best I could.
We needed a coffin.
Are you okay?
The tree. And, of course, the whole department store thing. Remember that?
Just smiling. I was just browsing.
For your wife or your girlfriend?
What?
What? What happened? Woof. I guess wouldn't be the Christmas shopping season if the stores were any less harder than they are.
You can't see the line, can you, Russ? What's the greatest Chevy Chase movie? Is that it? Christmas Vacation?
I'm either going to go with Vacation or Fletch. I love Fletch.
Yeah. We'll go maybe in hour 3. We'll take a look. I have my favorites. I'll give you my top 5 Chevy Chase movies. And number 1 may surprise you. So we'll get into that on his 77th birthday. Look, man, I understand. I don't know the guy personally, and a lot of people think he's a jerk, but whatever. I like his characters. You do some reading on Chevy Chase, too. His background is pretty incredible. I mean, it really is.
Early days on SNL.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
I mean, it's fantastic.
Jane, you ignorant.
The real unnamed texter says mothballs do not deter snakes. See, this is what I'm talking about. Stephanie on Facebook says mothballs do work, but they're not good if you have pets around them. Mike says mothballs are a deterrence because they will make the mice leave. So you're driving away the food source. Is that it? Oh, mixed messages, man. Confused over here. White Denzel says, is Nothing But Trouble the most underrated Chevy Chase movie of all time? Such a cult classic. Nothing But Trouble. I'm going to have to look that one up.
Yeah, it's a good one. But here's a little known fact about Chevy Chase. The first movie he was ever in is called Walk, ellipsis, Don't Walk. And his role in the movie, he was a pedestrian.
Oh, is that right? He was a pedestrian.
1968.
How about that? Like his family is sort of, like all of his ancestors are like really famous people in different ways. Okay? Like he's born in Manhattan, high class. Like his mother, father, one's an artist, one's a writer. His grandparents are all famous people and like military men and revolutionary war soldiers and all that kind of stuff. And he had a quote when he apparently, like his brother said about him, said Chevy hates the pretentiousness and stuff in our family and all that. And he said that his quote was, people who define themselves by their ancestors are like potatoes. The best parts of them are underground. Now, how great is that? I mean, that's a great quote. Now, maybe
that's why a potato tastes like a peanut.
Yeah, maybe he heard it from somebody else, but I don't know. Yeah, they do taste like peanuts sometimes, depending on how you cook it. No, hey, look. All right, this is that story I wanted to pass along to y'all. So you remember this probably from last week. SEC coaches got warned, basically, and then the memo makes it public. And I think that stuff happens intentionally sometimes because you want the media to know, hey, as a conference, we're not just allowing our people to totally disregard wearing a mask. We're telling them to wear a mask. So that's kind of what that was. After week 1, some coaches didn't really wear their masks on the sideline, particularly Mike Leach, and memo gets out there and it's public after the first week games. So after second week games, here's this. For the second straight week, the SEC Commissioner, Greg Sankey, sent out an internal memo to the athletic directors and coaches on the need to follow coronavirus protocols, this time outlining fines and possible suspensions in the event that they do not do so. The memo, which was obtained by ESPN, cited the recent spread of the coronavirus in the White House and the effect of positive tests on the NFL schedule. Let's get down to the dirty details, shall we? The memo states that programs whose coaches, staff, or other personnel fail to adhere to the approved task force requirements will be assessed a $100,000 reduction in conference revenue. The amount will increase by another $100,000 for each subsequent week of non-compliance. All right. Programs whose coaches, staff, or other personnel fail to adhere to the approved task force requirements. So you'd have to go back and, reference the task force requirements to make sure you know what they are. Masks and whatnot. Here's what it says here. Quote from the memo. The imposition of any reduction in conference revenue for failure to substantially comply with or repeated disregard of the SEC masking requirement will be determined at the commissioner's discretion. In addition, individuals who fail to comply with or disregard the mask requirement could be subject to penalties, including but not limited to suspension for a specified period. So, let's see. I think it was week 1. It was Coach Leach didn't really wear his much in the game against LSU.
Yeah, they mentioned him in the very next paragraph. He's the first guy. But it looks like also that Jimbo Fisher got viewed a lot last week at Tuscaloosa without having his mask properly adorned.
Yeah, Jimbo.
I think they should all just put football coaches in helmets and uniforms like they do baseball managers now and make them dress up.
Man, look. The mask deal, okay? Listen. Yes, masks help prevent. It's not about keeping you from getting it. It's about keeping you from spreading it unknowingly. That's the deal with masks. All right? But you can't tell me and convince me of the sense that it makes, the logic that is there behind big outdoor stadium. We're outside, y'all. We're outside. You're on the sideline with 100 other people. And half these 100 other people that are running right by you and you're having conversations are out here bear hugging each other for 60 minutes. And we're outdoors. And you tested them 3 times, Sunday, Wednesday, and the day before. And you're going to test them the day after. And you're saying the coach can't pull his mask down? Or could not go without one? And what this stuff is appeasing people watching on television. That's what it is.
Whether you want to be nice or naughty, shop.
Farm Bureau Insurance stands ready to provide financial relief to our communities in this time of crisis. This includes a one-time credit to all personal auto policyholders, a donation of $500,000 to the Mississippi Food Network, and additional payment options for those hit the hardest, all while continuing to service customer claims as well. But this is the time to go above and beyond. These are a few ways we're keeping the Farm Bureau promise. To learn more, talk to your agent or visit us online. Go with the home team.
Every farmer understands their farm can't thrive without some good partners like sun, soil, and rain. And farmers in North Mississippi also rely on another important partner, Mississippi Land Bank, because land and farm financing are Mississippi Land Bank's primary focus. We've grown alongside these farmers' crops for more than 100 years. We understand what a farmer needs, and we know the lay of the land in North Mississippi, and that's where I stand.
Bull. There's a lot of that out there in the wireless world. But C Spire believes that you deserve a plan that is what it actually says it is. Here's the real deal. The best plan for 1 or 2 lines. Unlimited talk and text with 10 gigabytes of high-speed data. And here's the real deal. $45 per line with auto pay and paperless billing. Even without auto pay, it's just $50. Now, how's that for the fine print? No bull. That's the real deal. Switch to C Spire today at cspire.com/real deal. C Spire, customer inspired. Man, that sounds like summertime in Mississippi, doesn't it? You know what else just screams summertime in Mississippi? Country Pleasin' sausage from Country Meat Packers in Florence. Check me out. Jalapeno and cheddar. Just got it at Kroger in Tupelo where I live. On grocery store shelves throughout the Southeast. Cut it up, throw it in the frying pan. Put it on a bun. Get some andouille, make some gumbo. It is the best sausage you've ever put in your mouth. Country Pleasin' sausage, countrypleasin.com. It is made up of hand-picked hams, bacon, and pork loin. That's why it tastes so good. I even got this cool hat from them. Check them out. Go by the butcher shop there in Florence, or order it online, or look for it in grocery stores. Walk up in there and say, Country Pleasin', please.
A lot of people in the equipment world, things kind of go in trends, I guess, if you want to say it. So kind of the first big thing for 2020 that we look at when we start evaluating our business is going to be our turf equipment. That's kind of the first big push, because once the water dries up and the grass starts growing, this is what everybody's looking to get. We carry the new Wright stand-up mower. Doesn't look like much and it's dirty as all get out. But this thing is, and it costs just as much as zero turn. Not a cheap unit at all. I mean, if you go out there and look at that zero turn, this thing right here, I mean, it's got all your components from your big pumps to your commercial engine to your large steel deck.
Trying to nail Jell-O to the wall. It's the Gridiron with Chris Brooks. Weekdays 10 a.m. to noon. Streaming online at thezone1059.com and on your radio at ESPN 1059 The Zone.
Now to get back to our little talk.
Right here on the Matt Wyatt Show.
All right, how about that? About to wrap up hour 2 here with you. Still a few minutes left in this hour. And then we'll get into hour 3 in a bit. We'll talk some high school football in hour 3, among other things. And get to some of your text messages and phone calls. So all that's open to you if you're tuning in. Can look at your comments on the YouTube live stream, on Facebook on the live stream. Y'all can text the show at 885-ESPN, 601 number, 885-ESPN, 885-3776. Or call me on the Davini phone, Davini Equipment, Madison and in Jackson. 601 number, 995-1059, 601-995-1059. Love to hear from you. Hit me up. You can also tweet me. Got Twitter up here at Radio Wyatt. JB Real C tweeted me back about an hour ago.
Yeah.
And it says, basically, like, here's a picture of the time that Matt took his country boy buddy Chris Brooks fishing. And it's a picture of somebody using a spinning reel upside down. You see that? And it's a meme. Somebody's got the spinning reel turned up the wrong way doing it. And it says, these are the people that wear masks alone in their car.
I did see that a while ago. Real
yeah.
He's a good dude now. I'm telling you, he's got some funny stuff.
He's funny. We got some funny people that listen to this show and others.
Got a funny one waiting on the phone. Right?
We sure do, don't we? Let's do that, and then we'll come back, and right after that, we'll hit 2 SEC games on the head-to-head matchup preview at Winsipedia. So that's coming up next. First, though, Davini Equipment phone line, More Bully hanging on. What's up, More Bully?
I want you to ask him where he ate with his wife, because he called in a while ago.
Okay.
About going to eat with his wife.
More Bully, where'd you eat?
So we usually just, I swear I just saw Dion, by the way.
You may have.
I know it. We eat at the house every day. We kind of changed our eating habits.
Yeah.
We had roasted turkey salad with chicken noodle soup.
Sounds good.
It was good, man. We had some radishes, some carrots, celery, a little bit of cheese, a little bit of dressing.
Yeah.
Spicing up some Campbell's soup with some different kind of spices. It was on point.
Man, you know what the homecoming queen did yesterday is she had one of those things going where like the crock pot's going all day with taco soup in it.
Yeah.
And so by last night, like you could just get close to our house and it smelled good. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. You know, you can get close to Chris Brooks' house and it smells bad.
Is that
That's a whole other story for another day.
No wonder he doesn't like food.
I know. So listen, I did want to tell you something about Brooks. I was up at the church house earlier today for a meeting, and I was before my meeting I was talking to a friend of mine who is actually the children's minister. And to go a little further, she's my pastor's wife.
Okay.
And she's a big state fan, and she was telling me, she said, I think on Tuesday, Matt complimented your call and the Brooks show and how you got the game and you broke it down pretty good. I said, really? That's funny. And then she said, you know, I really like Matt's show. Like, I just learned something, she said, because he knows what he's talking about. Like, he played football and he can break it down, and I think I learn something new every day. So I tell you all of that to tell you this. I'm not going to tell you that's a mutual friend with me and Brooks, because he claims she's a friend. and then one day, he claimed on the radio that she likes him more than me. and now this is a place where I go to church, right? And we're friends. And I told her that, and she said, "What?" She said, "I may have called in twice. I've spoken to him once. I wouldn't recognize him if he walked into this office right now."
You have just totally called in here and just, I'm talking about, you leveled him on my radio show.
Yep. I mean, just hyping you up like crazy.
That's funny.
He said something like, has Chris Brooks ever talked about sports? I said, I don't know. I said, I call into his show and I really don't ever talk about sports. There's your Chris Brooks back.
That's great.
I have some intro music when I come on. I'll do that every day.
Yeah, that's fantastic, More Bully, because, you know, I
enjoy
mean,
that one.
Well, you think about it, like Chris's show, I like it. I find their show, he and Beaver could talk about anything, and I'd listen to it.
Oh, I know.
And I don't know how they pull that off. I really don't. But yeah, it's a credit.
Because he's so ADD, like you said earlier.
That's it. That's it.
And it's awful. It's just absolutely awful. But, you know, you got to like the guy a little bit.
That's
but I know he can't catch a fish in a barrel.
We need to have a day where it's a Zone 105.9 fishing contest, you know, and just and maybe film it, you know, and just see how poorly Chris would do compared to everybody else.
I got the spot, man.
All right. Well, let me take you up on it.
It's bank fishing, but it's got some big fish in it.
That's my kind.
After y'all fish, I'm going to hit you some line drives at shortstop.
Yeah.
Not me, brother.
Why not?
He needs to get that cup fixed.
That's it.
Thanks for the call, More Bully.
There, man.
All right, see you. Thanks for the call. Yeah, you don't want to be taking line drives out there unless you're wearing the proper and functioning
proper flotation device.
Yeah, exactly. And the protect.
You got a text, man.
All right, let's see here. Country Please. Let's see. Country Please and text line. Country Please and sausage on grocery store shelves throughout the Southeast. Brooksy McJack. Y'all know who that is. The man, the myth, the legend. He calls me the hands of the dog. What does that make him? The hair of the dog? Brooksy McJack says, LOL. First, let's go fishing. Second, you can't listen to More Bully. Meaning you think he's exaggerating? Brooksy, if you told him 8,575,000 times not to exaggerate, is that right? Okay. Thanks for the update. Here we go. It is time for the head-to-head matchup preview. We'll knock out a couple of them right here, just some basic info that'll shoot you off into the weekend. We'll do some more of these tomorrow. Head-to-head matchup preview at Winsipedia.com. Wins, the letter I-pedia.com. First up, Ole Miss and Alabama. Current win streak in the series. Current win streak is Alabama's won 4 in a row. Dating back to 2016, in 2015, Chad Kelly popped up, put a knot on their head in Tuscaloosa. But since then, Alabama's won 4 in a row. The all-time series is very lopsided as well. Alabama 51-10 would be the all-time series. There are 2 ties that are listed in here at some point. But again, for ties and things like that, you got to go way back to find them. So on the timeline over at Winsipedia.com, they show you the chronological timeline right there. Wins for Ole Miss are actually in red. And so the last 2 that are kind of spread out. Well, I say the last 2 because you've had some vacated wins too. That's the other thing that is affecting this. And you go look at that timeline. That's what's interesting about it. You have the win that's credited to Ole Miss in 2015. The one in 2014 in Oxford that Ole Miss actually won 23-17. You remember Sinquez Golson interception in the back of the end zone, Bo Wallace? That one's been vacated. So see, it's grayed out. The games in 07, 06, 05, those have been vacated as well. Yep. So, on the field, there have been a couple of wins in the last 10 matchups for Ole Miss, but in the record books, there's only one because the one in 2014 got vacated. 10 wins in the series all time for Ole Miss. You go back to the first one in 1894, then in 1910, then in 1968, 1970. Vaught got them twice, a couple years bookending a couple there. They beat him in 76 in Jackson. Ken Cooper was the Ole Miss coach. They beat him in 88 in Tuscaloosa. The 93 game, that was a win for Alabama, but it wound up being forfeited. I think because of a player who signed with an agent, right? That would be Antonio Langham. Yeah, that's right. So a forfeit in the books, which technically they didn't win it on the field, but it got credited back to Billy Brewer and Ole Miss in that year. Then Ole Miss beat them in 01. Cutcliffe got a win in 2001, 27-24 in Oxford. Cut got them again in 2003, 43-28. And then it didn't happen again until 2014. That one got vacated. And they won in Tuscaloosa in 2015. That one straight up.
Yeah,
Bama's
the
won the last
3 games. Alabama scored 66, 62, and 59 points, respectively.
Woo! I'm talking, it's been 4 years since they held them under 50 points.
Yep.
Dang. All right, hour 3 coming up. Stick around.
Hey, it's Jake and Beeve here with the Afternoon Drive. Beeve, we're here for
Farm Bureau Insurance stands ready to provide financial relief to our communities in this time of crisis. This includes a one-time credit to all personal auto policyholders, a donation of $500,000 to the Mississippi Food Network, and additional payment options for those hit the hardest, all while continuing to service customer claims as well. But this is the time to go above and beyond. These are a few ways we're keeping the Farm Bureau promise. To learn more, talk to your agent or visit us online. Go with the home team.
Every farmer understands their farm can't thrive without some good partners like sun, soil, and rain. And farmers in North Mississippi also rely on another important partner, Mississippi Land Bank, because land and farm financing are Mississippi Land Bank's primary focus. We've grown alongside these farmers' crops for more than 100 years. We understand what a farmer needs, and we know the lay of the land in North Mississippi, and that's where I stand.
Bull There's a lot of that out there in the wireless world. But C Spire believes that you deserve a plan that is what it actually says it is. Here's the real deal. The best plan for 1 or 2 lines. Unlimited talk and text with 10 gigabytes of high-speed data. And here's the real deal. $45 per line with autopay and paperless billing. Even without autopay, it's just $50. Now, how's that for the fine print? No bull. That's the real deal. Switch to C Spire today at cspire.com/real deal. C Spire, customer inspired. Man, that sounds like summertime in Mississippi, doesn't it? You know what else just screams summertime in Mississippi? Country Pleasin' sausage from Country Meat Packers in Florence. Check me out. Jalapeno and cheddar. Just got it at Kroger in Tupelo where I live. On grocery store shelves throughout the Southeast. Cut it up, throw it in the frying pan, put it on a bun. Get some andouille, make some gumbo. It is the best sausage you've ever put in your mouth. Country Pleasin' sausage, countrypleasin.com. It is made up of hand-picked hams, bacon, and pork loin. That's why it tastes so good. I even got this cool hat from them. Check them out. Go by the butcher shop there in Florence, or order it online, or look for it in grocery stores. Walk up in there and say, Country Pleasin', please.
A lot of people in the equipment world, things kind of go in trends, I guess, if you want to say it. So kind of the first big thing for 2020 that we look at when we start evaluating our business is going to be our turf equipment. That's kind of the first big push, because once everything, the water dries up and the grass starts growing, this is what everybody's looking to get. We carry the new Wright stand-up mower. Doesn't look like much and it's dirty as all get out. But this thing is, and it costs just as much as zero turn. Not a cheap unit at all. I mean, if you go out there and look at that zero turn, this thing right here, I mean, it's got all your components from your big pumps to your commercial engine to your large steel deck. And these guys were the first ones to make the standard mower.
Hey, are you buying land or selling it? You need to let Matt Anderson with National Land Realty help you out. Matt Anderson Properties. Here's what Matt can do. If you're buying land, you can view the property without ever setting foot on it. They've got the 360-degree interactive drone touring. It's really cool. You got to check it out. And if you're selling property, Matt's going to get you consistent reports, comprehensive reports of who's looking, how many people looked at your listing. You need to let him help you. Matt Anderson Properties with National Land Realty. Call him, 601-408-5155. Hey, if you listen to the show, you know that the new third hour of the Matt Wyatt Show is brought to you by Overstreet Properties in Starkville. Here's what you need to know. If you're looking for a weekend home or condo, full-time residence, investment property, maybe just an apartment to lease, you got a student going to school at State, call Kane Overstreet at Overstreet Properties. In Starkville, it's 323-8618, or look them up online, overstreetproperties.com.
Talking about sports from around the world and right here at home. Streaming to you at thezone1059.com and on your radio on ESPN 105.9. The Zone.
All right. It's Thursday. This is hour 3 of the show, presented by Overstreet Properties in Starkville. Overstreet Properties and overstreetproperties.com. If you're headed to Starkville, any reason at all, moving up there permanently, like, see ya, headed up there, you're just going to stay. Well, you're going to need a place to live, right? Buy that house, look around, see what's out there, find the right one. Maybe it's investment property. Maybe it's getting a condo for the weekends you're in town for ball games. So it's your place. You come into town, it's yours. You just hop on in there. You're familiar with it. It's clean. All that good stuff. Good location. Get a good deal on it. Get a good interest rate. All of that. Go through Kane Overstreet at Overstreet Properties and overstreetproperties.com in Starkville. Remember I told you, and tell them I sent you. All right, you can be a part of the show as usual. Hit me up on the text line, Country Pleasing text line, 885-ESPN, 601-885-ESPN. Call me on the Davini phone, 995-1059, 601 number, 995-1059. Let's see here. Today is Chevy Chase's 77th birthday. If y'all didn't know that, you need to know. People in the industry say that he was a jerk and hard to work with and all that kind of stuff. But I'm like, so what? He's made some of my favorite movies of all time. Beer Slayer on the Country Pleasing text line said the best Chevy Chase movie by far is Spies Like Us. Christmas Vacation next. Then Original Vacation. Then Caddyshack.
Well, one of my favorites. Like it's in my top 5. Probably my number 5. But it was a movie he did with Goldie Hawn called Foul Play.
Foul Play.
Yeah, it was back in I want to say 77, 78, somewhere in there. But yeah, he played this really weird, as he always does, this really weird character who does all these goofball things, and Goldie Hawn falls in love with him, and they were trying to stop a murder and all this kind of stuff. So it's more of a John Grisham novel with a little comedy in it.
Okay, I gotcha. I'm looking here, at the filmography of him, right? So if I'm looking at this right, he was in all kinds of stuff. Okay, and this is post Saturday Night Live. He was in all kinds of different things. Just for years, like he's in 2-3 movies a year. Of course, he had the Chevy Chase show and different things. Okay, so here's your movie, Foul Play, 1978. After that, though, there are these other movies I didn't know about. Oh, Heavenly Dog. What is that? I didn't know he was in a movie called, never heard of it. Caddyshack in 1980. Well, see, that's it. This Oh Heavenly Dog movie that he was in came out the same year Caddyshack came out. He's 3 movies pop out there with Chevy Chase in them in 1980. Oh Heavenly Dog, Caddyshack, and Seems Like Old Times.
Yeah, and the Bully Bill referencing Spies Like Us, that was 85.
Yeah.
That had Fletch, European Vacation, which didn't do anything for me. Sesame Street Presents, Follow That Bird, and then Spies Like Us. He was pretty good as Dusty Bottoms in Three Amigos.
Three Amigos. It's great. Now, that was the stretch, okay? The 80s for him, because you're talking about 1980, he's in Caddyshack. Then National Lampoon's Vacation, the first one comes out in 83. All right, Fletch in 85, same year as Lampoon's European Vacation. Spies Like Us in 85 also. How about that? Fletch, European Vacation, and Spies Like Us all pop out there in 85. Then in 86, it's Three Amigos. I'm talking about Hollywood in the mid-80s could not get enough of Chevy Chase. Three Amigos, 86. Funny Farm in 88. But there's another one here, The Couch Trip. I'd have to look that one up. If he's in it, I bet it's good. He was in Caddyshack 2, but nobody remembers that. Fletch Lives was a good one in 89. And then the Christmas Vacation movie came out in 89. Okay, and then the 90s, all of a sudden, for me, the only thing in the 1990s that popped up that I am even familiar with that Chevy Chase was in the Vegas Vacation movie, which was 97. Because in the 90s, here's some movie he was in called, Nothing But Trouble. Memoirs of an Invisible Man, which I do remember that, but it wasn't great. Hero, Last Action Hero, Cops and Robertsons, Man of the House, and then Vegas Vacation. He was also in 98. He was in some movie called Dirty Work. Never heard of it. Now, underrated movie, your kids could watch it and would enjoy it, is Snow Day. If you've never seen Snow Day, Chevy Chase is in it. He doesn't play he plays a main character, but not one of the main characters in the movie. But Snow Day is a good movie, but that came out in 2000. I didn't realize it was that recent, though. It came out in 2000. But all this other stuff that he was in the last 20 years, there's all these different things that he's been a part of, whether he's acting in it, whether he was voicing it. It's just, you never heard of any of it. None of it.
Well, and he was in the remake of A Vacation in 2015 as Clark W. Griffin.
Yeah, as himself. I'm just looking here recently. There's nothing. There's some movies. There's some things he lent his voice to, some animated stuff. And, of course, he played the role on television for 5 years of Pierce Hawthorne in the show Community, which we watched it because it was an NBC show that was coming on, and I think in that Thursday night slot, right about the time that on Thursday nights The Office was ending its series. And we were huge fans of The Office up until the end of it on NBC in about 2009. But, so the stuff that he's been in is just, the list just goes on and on and on. But everything we know about him, the way you picture him, is all that stuff in the 80s, maybe one or two things in the 90s, and that's about it. And, of course, go way back with him on Saturday Night Live way back. So Beer Slayer weighed in. I like the list. He goes by far Spies Like Us, Christmas Vacation, then the original Vacation, then Caddyshack. I'll be honest with you, my favorite ones would be number 1, Christmas Vacation. Number 2 would be Funny Farm, which I think is just an incredibly underrated movie altogether. It is funny, and he is great, and everything about it's great. I love the movie Funny Farm. If you've never seen it, do yourself a favor, watch it. So for me, Christmas Vacation 1, Funny Farm 2. See, I probably, for him though, if we're just looking at Chevy Chase movies, he's in it. Caddyshack's in your top 5. It's not number 3 for me. Number 3, I would probably go the original Vacation. Number 4 would be Spies Like Us. And number 5, I'd probably go Caddyshack. Everybody's got some version of that of their list of Chevy Chase movies, though, I think, if we're being totally completely honest about it. MW247 says, I like Chevy in the movie Dirty Work. He was a crooked dentist. Okay, Dirty Work. See, I've never seen it. Yeah, Fletch, the Moon River scene. Yes, the Fletch movies are weird but good.
Dr. Babar.
Yeah, and Fletch, he was always wearing the Lakers jersey. Is that right?
Yeah. Lived down. Gummy was one of the characters in the show, and he would wear he would always dream of Jabbar passing him the ball, and he hits the winning shot.
Right.
On his Nerf hoop in his apartment.
Mm-hmm. Right. There's always something sports in a lot of these movies. In the Vacation movies, he's always wearing a Chicago Bears hat. Okay, in the movie Funny Farm, he is leaving his sports writer job. He was a full-time sports writer. He's leaving that, retiring, and moving out in the country. There's a lot of sports angles in a lot of these Chevy Chase movies. And Peanut Butter Falcon, you're right. You say you should check out the TV show Community. It is good. If you haven't seen it, it's good. It's a little weird, but it's good. Tyler Ratcliffe says, somebody asked Bill Murray about Caddyshack 2. He said they made one? Was he in it also? Yeah, Caddyshack 2, not so great. Not so great. Jason in Flagstaff, Man of the House, good, family friendly. I'd forgotten about that one. Judy on the Country Pleasing text says, was this a story here? Is this connected? No, that's not connected. My husband was at the golf course 30 miles away. What's that about, Judy? Maybe that was meant for someone else. Rob has a vote for Fletch. Sad Reb, you're exactly right. The dog running away in Funny Farm, hilarious. Do you remember that, JB, at all?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
You know, the town, they moved to this quaint little country town, and turns out they didn't really accept him too well. People were real quirky. And at one point, he tried to make friends by being in their boat in a fishing tournament, and he hooked one guy in the neck with his lure. And he was convinced the only way to get it out was to beat him over the head with a paddle and knock him out, and or punch him. And anyway, he wound up having to swim back to the bank. And he said, on the way home, they passed someplace, said dogs for sale, or puppies or something. And he says, you know what, doggone, if I can't make a friend, I'll just buy one. So he went in there, he buys this big dog. Gets it home. The dog's full of energy. Jumps out of the car. He's barking. The dog's running around, loving it out in the country. They're like, oh, look at him go. Problem is, the dog never came back. He just kept running and running and running. One of the movie plots is every now and then the dog just comes running by. There he goes. And eventually he got a dog who wouldn't run away. In fact, the dog didn't move at all. Yeah, there's a lot of funny stuff in that movie. The snake scene, I love the snake scene. We talked about that earlier today and referenced that. Funny Farm's a good movie. Rep Dog. Yeah, that's another one. Got it. Can't read it on the air, Rep Dog, but you're right. It's another one. He set the record for lamb fries in the movie Funny Farm. He sure did. Hey, I got cut short there in hour 2. We were going to hit a couple of the head-to-head matchup previews. We looked at Alabama and Ole Miss. That all-time series kind of lopsided. There's some quirkiness in it because of forfeits and vacated wins and stuff for both teams in that all-time series. But I didn't get to the other one, so I think now is a good time. So let's do it. The head-to-head matchup preview over at Winsipedia.com. That's Winsipedia.com. Wins, the letter I, Pedia.com. You can compare on that website any two teams in the country. It'll show you how many times they've played, when they've played, what the all-time series is, who has the longest winning streak. Look at a chronological timeline, largest margins of victory for both teams, longest winning streaks for both teams. Look at team and history comparisons. All-time wins, bowl records, Heisman winners, All-Americans, first-round picks. Compare all that stuff of any two teams in the country. It is a heck of a resource, in fact. Winsipedia.com. Okay, so this is Mississippi State versus Kentucky. This is one of the matchups we have this weekend, obviously. State at Kentucky this weekend. Get this. All-time series, Mississippi State, 24 wins to 23. They either extend it or Kentucky ties up the all-time series this weekend, potentially. 24-23. A couple of years ago, same boat. After, in the Mullen years, for the most part, State kind of dominated Kentucky during the Mullen years. I think Mullen lost to them once. Back in 2016, 40-38, Kentucky hit that field goal right at the end, And then Moorhead went 1-1 against them, lost to them up there in 18, beat them last year in Starkville. But that would tell you that up until the time Mullen got in there, Kentucky actually had a pretty significant edge in the all-time series. Mullen really put State out front. But last few years they've exchanged it, and so you're sitting right there, a one-win difference. State at 24 wins all-time against Kentucky. Kentucky 23 in the series. Longest win streak in the series for State, 7 in a row from 2009-2015. For Kentucky, it stretches a longer period of time. They had an 8-game win streak from 58 to 90. Modern era, that's another thing too. Like, we say till 90, they had an 8-game win streak in there. Well, they played in 58, 72, 73, 76, 77, 84, 85, and then in 90. They didn't play much over the course of 40 years, and Kentucky won them all, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, and that one game in 90. Then Coach Sherrill got the job, right, and started coaching in 91. And ever since then, I mean, it's been pretty much like State's kind of dominated the series since Sherrill became the coach, and ever since then. You know, a couple of stretches in there for Rich Brooks where he won a couple in a row, but modern era State's pretty much dominated that series. Largest margin of victory for State, they beat Kentucky 47-7 back in 1994. You know, you're looking at the two programs right there. First round draft picks. Kentucky all time has had 15 first round draft picks. State has had 14. How about that? It's really close. Kentucky is credited with a national championship. That'd be way back when, wouldn't it? 2 conference championships for Kentucky in its history.
Is that when Bear Bryant was there?
Yeah, let's see. They were, I guess it would be. Let's see here. 1 national title. I wonder what year it is that they claim it. Let me click on Kentucky and I'll be able to tell you here. 1 national champion. 1950. 1950. Yep. Paul W. Bear Bryant in 1950. The Kentucky team went 11-1. And somebody gave him a national championship that year. So anyway, a look at the series history right there. As I said, you know, State kind of has dominated it recently. If we go back to 2009, you know, they won 7 in a row up until 2015, 8, 9, 10, 11. So State has won 9 of the last 11 meetings. Yeah, this kind of lets you know that recently it's been State, but Kentucky turned it, right? Because they became competitive and got better after Mark Stoops started building it up, got the win by a field goal in 2016. They really whipped Joe Moorhead's first team at State in 2018 up in Lexington. 28-7 was that final, and State fans will remember that being a really frustrating ball game. Your defense kept you in it. You had a good defense in 18. They kept you in it for the majority of the games. You had no offense whatsoever. State had, I think it was, just barely 200 total yards of offense in that game against Kentucky up there in 2018. And then you go last year. What I remember about that game last year, 2019, was right off the bat, Willie Gay had the pick 6. This is in Starkville, and it seemed like the route was on. State built a pretty good lead. It seemed like my memory is that State really whipped them. Then you look, and final score last year was 28-13. You know, it was just a 15-point, technically 2-score ball game. There seem to be several of those in the Moorhead era that, you know, games you remember it being, it was kind of a whipping, but then you go look at the score and it was a lot closer than you thought. Oh, Lord have mercy. Look at this. Now, Judy, if y'all are just tuning in here in hour number 3, let me put a stop real quick to the head-to-head preview over at Winsipedia. If you're just tuning in, a couple of hours ago when we started this show, I told you the story of how at the end, about this time yesterday, the end of yesterday's show, Annabeth came storming into the studio and said, "Hey, get off the radio. There's a snake in the house." Turned out there wasn't one snake, there was 2. And they were not big snakes, but they were big enough, right? So we had to take care of that. And I told that whole story. Annabeth came by, put the headset on, and we had a good laugh because we saw the whole situation from 2 totally different perspectives, it seemed like, at least initially. But we got it taken care of. And I'll get the podcast posted so y'all can go back and listen to that if you want to. But anyway, Judy on the Country Pleasing text says, "I'm sending you a picture of a snake that came into our kitchen. The dog barked for over 30 minutes before I paid attention and came to find this visitor." She has sent me a picture. I grabbed a piece.
That looks like a cottonmouth.
It is a cottonmouth.
Yeah, it's got to be.
I grabbed a piece of...
thick.
It's thick. I mean, that's a big snake, JB. Look at the picture she has sent us. I grabbed a piece of wood and some Gatorade to trap him until Doug got home. Her husband was at the golf course 30 miles away. Doggone it. That's a big old cottonmouth in her house. It looks like, okay, so it's in the kitchen, and you can see like it's in the corner of the kitchen on the wood floor, right up under the edge of the cabinet. Oh.
If your wife had seen that snake yesterday,
passed out.
She would have left the house.
She'd been gone.
She'd have been
no
gone.
doubt. Hey, no doubt. If she had seen that snake, they're out. And she didn't care what happens.
It'd be, see ya. That's a thick dude right
That's
there.
a thick snake right there. You know, why do they come in? What are they looking for? Something to eat? Warmth? Anybody know?
Bored.
What kind of...
If you were a snake, what would you do? I mean, you'd be bored all day.
Yeah, I guess I would. If I was a snake, I'd want to live down by the lake. Forget going in somebody's house.
If I was a snake, I'd want to live in a van down by the river.
Buddy of mine, Mark from Vicksburg, sent me a picture. They had a snake in their garage. Great, big, old rattlesnake. This is in Vicksburg. They called the sheriff. Sheriff came out and had a stick with a clapper on the end of it, and captured his head and picked him up.
Oh, like one of those gun things you use to pick up trash?
Yeah, sort of like that.
Yeah.
Clamped it on his head and then picked him up by the tail.
Yeah.
Yeah. Call the law. We got a snake in the house.
Get some duct tape, I guess.
Yeah. All right, y'all stick around.
Since 1991, the UMMC
Farm
Sports
Bureau Insurance stands ready to provide financial relief to our communities in this time of crisis. This includes a one-time credit to all personal auto policyholders, a donation of $500,000 to the Mississippi Food Network, and additional payment options for those hit the hardest, all while continuing to service customer claims as well. But this is the time to go above and beyond. These are a few ways we're keeping the Farm Bureau promise. To learn more, talk to your agent or visit us online. Go with the home team.
Every farmer understands their farm can't thrive without some good partners like sun, soil, and rain. And farmers in North Mississippi also rely on another important partner, Mississippi Land Bank, because land and farm financing are Mississippi Land Bank's primary focus. We've grown alongside these farmers' crops for more than 100 years. We understand what a farmer needs, and we know the lay of the land in North Mississippi, and that's where I stand.
Bull. There's a lot of that out there in the wireless world. But C Spire believes that you deserve a plan that is what it actually says it is. Here's the real deal. The best plan for 1 or 2 lines. Unlimited talk and text with 10 gigabytes of high-speed data. And here's the real deal. $45 per line with auto pay and paperless billing. Even without auto pay, it's just $50. Now, how's that for the fine print? No bull. That's the real deal. Switch to C Spire today at cspire.com/real deal. C Spire, customer inspired. Man, that sounds like summertime in Mississippi, doesn't it? You know what else just screams summertime in Mississippi? Country Pleasing Sausage from Country Meat Packers in Florence. Check me out. Jalapeno and cheddar. Just got it at Kroger in Tupelo where I live. On grocery store shelves throughout the Southeast. Cut it up, throw it in the frying pan. Put it on a bun. Get some andouille, make some gumbo. It is the best sausage you've ever put in your mouth. Country Pleasing Sausage, countrypleasing.com. It is made up of hand-picked hams, bacon, and pork loin. That's why it tastes so good. I even got this cool hat from them. Check them out. Go by the butcher shop there in Florence, or order it online, or look for it in grocery stores. Walk up in there and say, Country Pleasing, please.
a lot of people in the equipment world, things kind of go in trends, I guess, if you want to say it. So kind of the first big thing for 2020 that we look at when we start evaluating our business is going to be our turf equipment. That's kind of the first big push, because once everything, the water dries up and the grass starts growing, this is what everybody's looking to get. We carry the new Wright stand-up mower. Doesn't look like much, and it's dirty as all get out. But this thing is, and it costs just as much as zero turn. Not a cheap unit at all. I mean, if you go out there and look at that zero turn, this thing right here, I mean, it's got all your components from your big pumps to your commercial engine to your large steel deck. And these guys were the first ones to make the standard mower.
Hey, are you buying land or selling it? You need to let Matt Anderson with National Land Realty help you out. Matt Anderson Properties. Here's what Matt can do. If you're buying land, you can view the property without ever setting foot on it. They've got the 360-degree interactive drone touring. It's really cool. You got to check it out. And if you're selling property, Matt's going to get you consistent reports, comprehensive reports of who's looking, how many people looked at your listing. You need to let him help you. Matt Anderson Properties with National Land Realty. Call him, 601-408-5155. Hey, if you listen to the show, you know that the new third hour of the Matt Wyatt Show is brought to you by Overstreet Properties in Starkville. Here's what you need to know. If you're looking for a weekend home or condo, full-time residence, investment property, maybe just an apartment to lease, you got a student going to school at State, call Kane Overstreet at Overstreet Properties. In Starkville, it's 323-8618, or look them up online, overstreetproperties.com.
Our guest is the most valuable player of the National Basketball Association 6 times. From the Los Angeles Lakers, the all-time scoring champion of the NBA, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, and he's coming off a game that was second to none in his brilliant career. You got to be proud.
Oh, definitely, Chick. It was a great effort, but, I had a lot of help, and we're just glad to be here.
Hey, how about Fletch?
Well, wow, what can I say about Fletch? He's been fantastic. He boxes out for us, gets the tough rebounds, does the tough things that we need to win. It's great working with him. I don't know where we'd be without him.
Well, let's take a look at the play. He is actually 6'5" with the afro 6'9". Pretty good dribbler. Comes in deep. His club is behind by 1 point at this stage. Fletch comes in, puts the ball through the legs. What a great play, and he puts it up and in, and the Lakers have the lead. Oh, was that some kind of a play? This gritty kid from the street.
That's him. Did he just say that Fletch was 6'5", but his afro made him 6'9"?
And I played that clip because he's taller than his hair.
Yeah, taller than his hair is. Back on the show with you, Farm Bureau Studio. I'm Matt, JB here. Thankfully, you are here. I have news for y'all from the college football world. I'll come to a couple of comments. I do agree, Sven, who's watching on YouTube, maybe time to jump into some predictions today and tomorrow. We ought to predict some games tomorrow, JB. You've been pretty good at it. I generally am pretty bad at predicting scores.
Right.
If it's just winners, I do okay. But I think one of the things I have a hard time with, I've always had a hard time picking games, making predictions and stuff, and because, one, my heart is always with Mississippi State, and that generally affects it. But two, other games, like I pay kind of naturally, I pay little attention to who's favored and underdogs and all this kind of stuff, because as a player, you're always looking through the eyes of what could happen. I was always an optimist. And as a player, you never look at a game like, well, Vegas says we're a 14-point underdog, so we're probably not going to win. No, I mean, you don't even consider that, so it's a little bit of a handicap almost when picking them. So we'll do that. But we may do something today. Sven's got a prediction in there. We'll get to that in a sec. But this is the news from the college football world you need to be aware of. Statement. I have a statement from Les Miles, the head coach at Kansas. Today, I was notified that I have tested positive for COVID-19. This is Les Miles. I am beginning the isolation process at my home and will continue to fulfill my head coach responsibilities remotely. Although I will not physically be able to attend practice for the time being, I will be using the technology available to remote working to stay connected during staff meetings with players. Thank you for your prayers and support in advance. I look forward to beating this virus and returning back to be with my team in person very soon. Rock chalk. That is a statement from Les Miles, head coach, Kansas. He's got COVID. Statement. You may find this part of it, really interesting. Statement from the AD, Jeff Long at Kansas. He's the former Arkansas athletics director. Jeff Long says, Coach Miles has tested positive for COVID-19 through our surveillance testing. At this time, we believe he will be able to continue to perform head coaching duties. Yeah. Hey, John, your mic's still on. I'm just giving you a heads up there, John.
Sorry about that.
No problem. It just says, at this time, we believe he will be able to continue to perform his head coaching duties. Based on the other test results, no other coaches tested positive. As long as Coach Miles does not develop symptoms or have a fever, we anticipate he will be able to coach the West Virginia game on October 17th. So there you go. I mean, that's basically right at 2 weeks, maybe minus a day. I guess unless the test came in yesterday and they just announced it today.
Yeah.
But there you go. They're planning on him coaching on the 17th this month. And it says, as long as Coach Miles does not develop symptoms or have a fever. So there you go. As far as head coaches, what is it? He and Kevin Sumlin?
Kevin Sumlin.
That's the two that I know of.
Yeah, that's only two I'm aware of. Sorry about that, man.
No problem.
I got some good news. Jake came in, and WRKS 105.9 The Zone will be broadcasting all the MHSAA high school playoff championship games.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That is outstanding.
Yeah.
Every dadgum one of them, huh?
Yeah, December 3rd and 4th.
Oh, that is
on
great.
Air here, which is Thursday and Friday.
That is good to hear. Appreciate it. Jake's got the info. Who gets credit for that, Jake?
No, I get credit for it because I left my mic on.
Oh, okay. You broke the news, right?
Yeah, we broke the news. Jake says, hey, by the way.
What up, Jake? Attaboy, that sounds good, man.
Yeah, good stuff.
Good stuff. All right, so keep it tuned right here all the way through December. Sports, sports, sports. Except from 10 to 12. And that's when, Chris and Beaver will keep you entertained with anything, really. No, I'm just kidding.
Hey, the country pleasing text line. We have somebody sent a picture of Fletch with his afro.
Oh, did he? Let's see here. Where is that picture? I can't find it. Oh, there it is. Look at him. I remember that. Only Chevy Chase could pull that off. Yeah. Number 99 for the Lakers.
Wearing some close similarities to Kurt Rambis minus the Superman glasses.
Yeah. Okay, country pleasing text line. Jeremy says, what are your thoughts on Tennessee, Georgia? Looks like an old school defensive SEC throwback. Does Tennessee have enough on offense to keep it close? Or will they have to turn Georgia over and play a short field game, playing a short field all game? Sorry about that. Jeremy, here's what I think. On paper, looking at it, strange things happen, obviously, but on paper, looking at it, Georgia's defense should not allow a whole lot, and especially in terms of points, to that Tennessee offense. Tennessee's offense has not been explosive. They have been a little more steady and a little more steady here and there, but they still, the strength of that offense, the offensive line, they got a great player in Smith up there, Trey Smith. Their quarterback, Garantano's playing well, managing their games, seems confident in the offense, ready to play as a senior, kind of won the job back as a senior. Credit to the coaches for figuring out a way to just play the best guy. instead of going with how you feel about things and all. Play for this team, not for the future. That's the way coaches should do it. But all that said, they haven't been explosive, and I do think they'll put up a little bit better fight with their offense against Georgia than Auburn did, than Arkansas did. But still, when you say put up a fight, Georgia's defense is just elite. They're going to make more plays than you. They're going to make more plays than Tennessee. They're going to stop them more than they don't. And I think the real question is, can Georgia's offense themselves get going? Are they going to be able to go out there and put up 24 on Tennessee? See, I think with Georgia's defense against Tennessee, I think 24 points is plenty enough to win the ball game if you're Georgia. That's what I think. So probably a more competitive game than you had last week, Georgia-Auburn. But I don't see Tennessee going in there and beating Georgia. They will move the ball. They will do some good things. Their offensive line will be able to go with them. But Georgia's athletes will overwhelm them. That's what I expect. What do you think, JB? You got an opinion on that game?
Yeah, I agree with you. I think the Georgia defense is going to be a little too much for the Volunteers. And they're playing at Georgia, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. Between the hedges, the Dogs, no matter how bad their offense is, and, very inconsistent heretofore so far this year. But, I don't see Tennessee going in there and beating them.
Yeah. With you on that. Rep Dog on the Country Pleasing text line. I was a sophomore at State, he says, for the 1984 game. The one play I remember from that game against Kentucky is Kentucky punting, but State did not force the punter to kick, and he ran for a first down and ended up scoring a touchdown on the drive. So, in other words, State set up the punt return and didn't rush anybody, so the punter just took off, huh? That's the one play that stands out in the ball game.
And Mike Norvell, coach at Florida State,
right.
also had tested positive for COVID.
Okay, that's right. Thanks for that. Anthony, Jason, they got that. So you got Les Miles, Mike Norvell, and Kevin Sumlin, the three head coaches I can think of at this point who've tested positive. There will be more. Just get ready. There will be more. You just hope that so far like it's been, it's stuff that you don't have a lot of symptoms and you're able to recover from. All right, we'll wrap it up next. Stay with me.
It's not Christmas yet, but it might as well be at Live Oaks Golf Club in Jackson. Join now and pay no dues until February 2021. As at Live Oaks, we have a membership to fit your needs, and all memberships include pool access. Call 601-982-1231 for more information. Roosevelt's is now open, so grab a bite. Learn more by visiting the website at liveoaksgc.com and follow us on all social media pages at Live Oaks Golf. Live Oaks Golf Club, where we have the best greens and the coldest beer.
Okay, you're able to hear me? Yeah. All right. Now you hear yourself?
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll talk about it next.
Do you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you fine. Hang on, let me respond to this text.
Because of your
Hold on.
thing? Yeah. It sounds kind of... I think you need to turn it up a little bit.
Hold on. Okay, we're not back yet. Mary, how was school today?
Good.
Good.
We all have a lot on our minds.
Pay some bills.
Just commercials. Still just listening to commercials.
Who likes commercials?
Well,
you. Because
pays the bills.
And it gives you a little time to do stuff.
Hey,
look at my new cowboy boots.
Mary, those are great. They are so cute. Okay, hey, listen. Put that on. And when we're on the air, you have to not fool with this or the cable. Don't be fooling with the cable because it makes noise that people can hear. Okay?
Visit welcomehomebeef.com.
Need some help?
Welcomehomebeef.com. Hey, it's Jake and Beef here with the afternoon drive. Beef, we're
Yeah, don't touch it or the cable.
Yeah, will you turn me up a
Mary,
little
see what
bit?
you're doing? You can't do that. That you'll be able to hear that.
how cold it gets. That means if you thought the mosquito eggs in your yard are dead from the winter,
There you go. It's fine.
it could still be a problem. So we do need to call
See, and it'll be, this is about how loud I'll be.
better. No contracts, no commitments, no mosquitoes.
And I'll turn it up when it's time, okay?
Bugsbite.com.
Farm Bureau Insurance stands ready to provide financial relief to our communities in this time of crisis. This includes a one-time credit to all personal auto policyholders, a donation of $500,000 to the Mississippi Food Network, and additional payment options for those hit the hardest, all while continuing to service customer claims as well. But this is the time to go above and beyond. These are a few ways we're keeping the Farm Bureau promise. To learn more, talk to your agent or visit us online. Go with the home team.
Every farmer understands their farm can't thrive without some good partners like sun, soil, and rain. And farmers in North Mississippi also rely on another important partner, Mississippi Land Bank, because land and farm financing are Mississippi Land Bank's primary focus. We've grown alongside these farmers' crops for more than 100 years. We understand what a farmer needs, and we know the lay of the land in North Mississippi, and that's where I stand.
Wyatt Show on 105.9 The Zone and online at thezone1059.com.
All right, back with you to wrap it up here on this Thursday in the Farm Bureau studio. Farm Bureau Insurance. Go with the home team. They are your home team in all 82 counties around the state of Mississippi. Your hometown heroes, your local Farm Bureau insurance agent. A couple of things real quick. Sven on YouTube predicts Mississippi State to beat Kentucky 42-24. He's 1 for 1 this year, trying to make it 2 for 1. 42-24, his prediction on the state game. We'll predict some games tomorrow and see, or say predict. We'll pick some games tomorrow and see how that goes. Tar Heel on the Country Pleasing text line says, I'm headed to Country Pleasing to get some of that pineapple sausage. Well, get it. And Tar Heel, let me know what you think. I think you're really going to like it. I think it would be the perfect thing to make a sausage dog with, would be the pineapple flavor. All right. If you were tuning in when we started the show right around lunchtime, you heard the story of what happened yesterday at this time, 24 hours ago. I was on the air with you here, wrapping up in Hour 3, presented by Overstreet Properties and overstreetproperties.com in Starkville. And we had a caller on who was entertaining, and the homecoming queen opened the door to the studio, gets my attention, says this, get off the radio, there's a snake in the house. And I began to internally freak out. JB helped me figure out a way to get off the air just a little early, and we not only had one snake in the house, we had two. And here to tell you a little more about it.
Good deal. I was hoping this would happen.
Mary Liddy, 9-year-old, star third grader at Lawhorn Elementary in Tupelo, Mississippi.
And Snake Charmer.
Snake Charmer was the first person in our family to lay eyes on the snake. Mary Liddy, welcome home from school. How was school today?
It was good.
It was good? Had a good day?
Yes, I did.
Okay, so here's what I want to know. Let's go back to yesterday.
Okay.
What happened when you came in?
Wow. I came home and it was time for my voice lesson, and I have to have my reading glasses for it.
Mm-hmm.
And they were in the garage.
In the car?
In the car, yeah. And I walked to the door barefoot. And I saw that the tail of snakes don't really have tails, but you know, the back of the tail.
Right.
The back of the snake. and it was under the door, and I thought it was just a weird leash.
Leash, like a dog
like
leash.
a dog leash.
Okay.
Then I opened the doors, and it starts slithering up the door, and I see the head, and I yell, "There's a snake in the house." That is exactly what I yell. Snake in the house. I didn't even scream. I didn't say snake, snake. I just said snake in the house. That's what I said.
Okay.
And then she's like, and then Mom was like, where is it?
Okay, listen. When you saw the head of the snake, was it...
My thoughts in my head was, just, that was my, all I could think of was,
like screaming,
My head was screaming, but I was screaming, there's a snake in the house.
Snake in the house. Wait, and I didn't know this, so you saw it climbing up the door?
Not like up the door, just kind of like, kind of slithered around it.
Okay, Ricky is watching the live stream on Facebook, and he has a question. He said, what did it look like?
It was black, and like, I didn't get, like, when I saw the head, I ran, so I didn't get like a good time to look at it, but all I can remember is it was black and this orangey color.
Mm-hmm.
And it was fast.
He moved fast.
Yeah, it was a racer, right?
Well, I don't know what it was. But
you said it was a racer.
No, I didn't say that. Your mommy came up with that somewhere. But
of course.
Okay, and so during that time, I heard commotion. But when you guys get home, I always hear some commotion. But it was a little different. And that's when your mommy came in here and she says, "Get off the radio!
There's a snake in the house, Matt!
Yeah.
Matt!
Yes, over and over. And she's texting me, and I'm trying to figure it out. And when I came downstairs, you were in the bathroom with the door shut.
I was scared to death. She put me in there.
Wait a minute. You were scared of the snake, or you were scared of being in there?
No, I was scared of the snake, so I went in the bathroom and shut the door.
Okay. Champ and Lady were in there with you?
Yeah.
Mommy put them in there?
Yeah, I was really scared.
So what were you thinking while you were in the bathroom hiding?
Well, I was thinking, like, what if it gets in the house or in the den or something?
Okay, so here's a question. This didn't happen. Obviously, we got rid of it. But what if we had not been able to find it? What would we have done?
Well, I mean, nothing really, and it would have just if. Would
you have come upstairs and slept in your bed last night if we had not found the snake?
Yeah.
You would?
Wait, what do you mean?
Snakes don't climb the stairs.
Well, see, what I mean is, I think that if we hadn't found it, I think your mommy would not have stayed here. I think she would have we're gone. We're going to Mom's house, or we're going to a hotel. I don't think she would have stayed here.
Oh, now I get it.
Yeah.
Yeah, if it was in the house and we didn't find it, no, I would have, I don't know. I don't think I would have wanted to sleep here.
Yeah.
Because who knows? Maybe a snake can climb up the stairs.
Yeah, who knows?
Well.
Ricky was asking, did it have yellow specks? No, it's not that kind.
No.
It had stripes, it had stripes. But that's the thing, there were two. So when I went in there and I moved the basket.
Honestly, I'm serious. I didn't get a close enough look at it. I got the most quickest look at it. When I saw the head, I screamed in terror.
Yeah, in full terror. Yeah, you did. You screamed.
And when I was crying in fear in the bathroom.
And why did so in the middle of all this, you're in the bathroom, door shut, you got the dogs in there with you, you're crying. I finally get downstairs, I'm going in there to see if I can find the snake, and about that time the UPS man dropped something off the front door.
Great timing.
And rang the doorbell.
And then Champion Lady started barking.
And you did what?
Well, I yelled at them. I yelled at the dogs.
You screamed at the top of your lungs, and it scared you to death when he rang the doorbell.
Yeah, when he rang the doorbell and the dog started barking, I screamed. I was like, just a little scream, like,
Well.
Yeah, well.
So, did you? How it didn't take you long to kind of get over the fear, though. It seemed like Mommy was still afraid all night long. But.
Yeah, when I was sitting on the floor, she's like, "I wouldn't be sitting on the floor without you."
She didn't want you sitting on the floor.
Yeah, I was playing with kinetic sand. And I dropped it on the floor. And when I picked it up, she's like, just leave it on the floor. Just don't get on the floor. Like, if she would have stayed on the, like, she wouldn't even put her toe on the floor.
I know. She was just terrified of it. and was
well,
even last
who
night.
likes snakes?
Yeah, I don't.
And I was thinking in my head, it's a snake, but it's fall. Why are they coming out in fall? The one reason fall is my favorite season is because there are no snakes.
But where did you hear that though? There's snakes all year long.
They're all trying to find a place to bed down for the cold and rainy
for the winter.
Season. Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe they knew a hurricane's coming. They were trying to get away from the hurricane.
They were trying to seek shelter.
Yeah.
Not helping.
Not helping? No.
Like,
when you, after we had eradicated the snakes, one had crawled out of the garage and left. Another was in the driveway chopped in half when I dumped out that basket of dog toys and everything else. And you came over and you looked. And you looked. You saw that snake the dead snake in the driveway.
Mm-hmm. It was like the end of it was in two pieces.
Yeah, I chopped them in half. Did you finally feel safe again when you saw that?
No, but until you said that the snake wasn't in the garage and it was outside, the other snake wasn't in the garage, I was fine. But Mama said, what if there's a third one? Like,
she has tried her best to talk herself into there being more snakes.
Yeah, she wants there to be another snake. Like, it's like she
like
doesn't...
a whole family of them.
It's like she doesn't want it to happen, but that's why she's forcing herself to convince, to know it.
Really?
Like, she doesn't want it to happen, but...
I mean, she's asked me probably 5 times. I mean, Matt, if there's 2, why wouldn't there be 3? And I'm like, look, I don't know. I don't have any answers I don't know about snakes. I don't know any of this.
And then she said, I don't believe you.
Right. Yeah, she tried not to believe me yesterday when I told her that we finally got rid of them. Well, look, Mary Liddy, Honey just commented on the Facebook live stream. She said, Honey hates snakes too.
Well,
I'll tell you what.
Who likes snakes?
I'm just really proud of you for spotting it and pointing it out to Mommy so that we could take care of it yesterday at about this time.
Yeah.
All right. Mary Liddy, Wyatt, 9-year-old superstar 3rd grader. Thanks for being on the show.
You're welcome.
What do we say when we say goodbye on the radio show?
See ya.
See ya.
See ya.
See y'all tomorrow. See ya.
See ya.